Hold on.
Uh-oh.
No. There. Hello and welcome everyone to this week's new episode of Primetime Gaming with Mr. BoomStick and Friends. And listen, I don't know whether you saw us before. I did it backwards. I hit live before I hit the Primetime Gaming intro. Terrible way to start that. But listen, folks, we have an outstanding show for you. We have everyone here except for the one Everborn. Now, we did say, and I did tell everyone that OBM was going to be here. At OBM, one bad mother from, of course, Xbox era. He has been stricken with the flu, ladies and gentlemen, and he is currently hiding under the covers, and he will be joining us not next Wednesday, but the 25th. Now, the 25th is a big day because guess what? That is when Xbox is having their confirmed event. We're going to get into that. We're going to get into some Starfield news that was confirmed by Microsoft, by Bethesda, and by the official Twitter account, something that we just talked about on the Xbox Factor podcast the other day when we had Skullsy TV joining us, Mr. Bethesda himself. And it just goes to show you folks that Microsoft is listening, and more importantly, they're listening to the Xbox Factor podcast. And I say welcome. But listen, let's get into the introductions. Welcoming him back off of his long vacation to the motherland, if you will. Kay Asante, what's going on, brother? How you feeling?
Oh, I'm excited to be here. What is this? The first podcast I've done in 2023? Yeah, this is amazing. I'm happy to be here with the brothers. It's going to be awesome. I see a bunch of the folks already in the chat. I am so excited. I can't wait to get back to the shows, get back to the conversation, and there's a lot to talk about. So I'm excited to be here. Thank you guys for having me, as usual. Let's get into it.
Yeah, no, it's great. It's great to have you back. Obviously, folks, if you see me on camera and you're looking to, what is it? This side, there you go. You can see that I got the 64 by 64 D-Voom. It has a bunch of pixel art in there. Mrs. Boom got it for me for Christmas. It's set up. It's amazing.
Nice.
And
I'm not jelly at all. Not at all. Not jelly.
It's got some really cool features. I got to still play with it because I want to do some my own logos in there as well. I'd love to get the stuff. And speaking of logos, folks, I just had a meeting with the artist known as Ben Kenobi, and we will be announcing very shortly a complete channel redesign with all kinds of new designs and for t-shirts. We'll be launching our merch. Finally, people have been asking for it. And we're going to put that out there very soon. It's going to be, I think, 5 or 6 different designs. And hopefully it's what the people have been asking for. So yeah, that's going to be coming in the next couple of weeks. But listen, let's welcome back Crispy Bomb. Crispy, you were hit hard with sickness. Obviously, you're back, brother. How are you feeling? How's the family? And man, talk about Xbox news for a Wednesday. Crazy.
Man, dude. What a great day to come back, huh? I mean, come on. This is awesome. But yeah, it's just, it was rough. And, they're actually like right after I found out there's another variant. So I don't know if I got that. So, I mean, it's possible. I did get my taste and smell back, though. So, hey, there's one thing that came out of it because I did not have good taste and smell. And then I got it again, and all of a sudden it came back. So, I bless God for that because I really did miss that. So, but it's great to be here. And man, I mean, Xbox, you're listening clearly because we basically dedicated half a podcast 3 weeks ago and kind of said the similar things between all of us that were there. So yeah, it's going to be a great show, and let's get into it.
Absolutely. Wondering Dutch, what's going on, brother? You started off strong today with your podcast and your mates. How you feeling, brother? You ready to rock and roll?
Yeah, really great podcast. Actually, good fun. It was nice to go into a podcast and have actually a lot of topics to talk about today because a lot of news dropped. We had the Xbox Developer Direct news. We had the Ubisoft news. We had the new ex-devs from Playground starting a studio. So there's a lot to talk about, and it was a lot of kind of positive things to talk about as well for a change, aside from Ubisoft.
Yeah.
But no, great show. Had the full panel back again, including BitCloud. So it was a great show, and I'm excited to get back into it. It's the start of 23. We've starting the ball rolling with some great announcements, with our first showcase of the year. Just seen the Dead Space trailer as well.
Yeah,
beautiful.
Sorry that I
so
bought
yeah,
hyped. I'll tell you that right now. I don't know if you bought it. I had to have it. I love the
yep.
you know,
yeah, day one.
I have the Halo one. Well, I bought the Halo helmet separately, but I have the Fallout 76 one. Okay, the game don't kill me, but the helmet was dope. I got the Doomslayer one. I got the one from Titanfall 2. And to add Dead Space to the collection I had to do it. And that new trailer is ridiculous.
Yep.
And
Yep.
speaking of horror, the Mag, what's going on, brother?
Yeah.
Callisto Protocol. For me, it's a
Yes.
7, and I just can't beat that last boss. It is the saves or the checkpoints are egregious. The weapon changes. Oh my God, how you change the guns is terrible, and I just cannot beat the scale, folks. Now I normally play games on medium or I'd love to play games on hard because I want a challenge. I died so many times on this last boss, and I've been at this last boss for, I don't know, maybe 3 weeks, that I was like, you know what? I just want to beat the game and be done with it. And I brought it down to the most cheapest way, the lowest level, and the scaling is off the charts. It's like nothing. I think it made it harder when I lessened the difficulty.
Well, I got to tell you, you know what? I gave the game a 7 as well.
Yeah.
It would have gotten a much higher score if it wasn't for bad developer choices, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And it was those things. I listed it on Twitter when I talked about it. I'm not going to get into it, but either way, I missed the Dead Space trailer that Dutch put up in the chat, which I'm going to at some point during the show. I'm going to run away for 2.5 minutes and turn off the camera, and I got to go watch this trailer because it looks fantastic. But anyways, enough of that nonsense. Let's get into the show. Listen, glad to have Crispy Bomb back, and Crispy, it had nothing to do with the virus. You never had any taste. Anyways, also, of course, the big...
Holy matrimony.
Hey, I couldn't do it. I had to do it. But you know what? I'm excited about the big Xbox news for this week.
All right.
Hey, and the biggest Xbox news of this week is obviously the Oreo cookies. So anyways, let's get into the show.
Listen.
We're going to talk about cookies for 2 hours because I do know how to bake, so let's get into it.
Listen, you cannot argue an Xbox Oreo cookie. But obviously, all jokes aside,
I'm chocolatey enough. It's good. It's fine.
Chocolatey enough. I love it. Hargeet, what's going on, brother? Welcome back. You're back to work after having a nice 3-week vacation, maybe even more than that. How you feeling?
6 weeks. Yeah,
6 weeks.
Wow.
Holy matrimony.
6 week vacation. Yeah, no, it's good. Still finishing a whole bunch of games, which is good. It's been fun playing, and I guess we have some interesting news.
A little bit of news.
I think the big news though isn't there something about your Xbox is now going to shut off automatically? Isn't there something going on with that?
Well, listen, Microsoft wanting to save the world. I know what
Yes.
I say. I say good on them. I say global warming is for real. Listen, anytime you see a big
Carbon
company.
aware.
But it's funny and we laugh, but at the end of the day, though, I do applaud them for making change that are going to eventually help our kids and their kids, right? So I mean, obviously,
and the cool gaming side about that is they are confident enough that they've gotten the startup time so low that you will not even notice
notice the difference. Yeah,
cool.
It's crazy. Listen, Hargeet, obviously. That wasn't the only news. One of our thing. You've been very critical. You're a big Xbox fan like myself, and you have criticized the 2 M's that they seem to forget about, and that's messaging and marketing. But that wasn't the case today. So kudos to Aaron Greenberg. Kudos to the marketing team over at Xbox, and of course Bethesda proper, that we got a piece of information that has had even the greats like Jez Corden scratching their head on, we are not sure what is actually going to happen. And what we're talking about is the elephant in the room, folks, and that's Starfield. Look, I'm going to say this. I said this in the green room, and I will say this publicly right now. Spider-Man 2 is going to be amazing. Zelda Breath of the Wild 2 is going to be amazing. Pick your favorite flavor of the year. Dead Space, Star Wars, Fallen Order 2. Whatever is you have at your top list of your game for the year of 2023, I'm here to tell you that nothing that is coming out this year is going to eclipse Starfield. It is going to be the biggest game of the year. And one of the things that has me excited, especially as being an Xbox fan who has been behind the 8 ball for many, many, many years, you're going to see a feverish pitch for a game the likes of Halo 3. Like, I think that is what you're going to see happen in real time. Listen, Cargi, they confirmed, and they needed to do this. They needed to let the people know, because the first show of the year has to be, you have to swing for the fences. And what they're bringing to the table is no slouch. But not to mention, Starfield in any way would have been a disaster. I think that would have been a horrible way to round the bases. Them coming out and saying Starfield is so important, it's so big that it is going to have its own showcase. When you heard that confirmation, what did that do for you?
So, I mean, I think it's a good thing, especially given the format they're going with, right? This is not a showcase. It's more of a developer direct, which is kind of cool, right? This is something new for Xbox. They don't generally do this. That's cool. We've seen it from others though, and it could be a good way to showcase what they want. Just think of the interview we had recently with Redfall, where the developer's telling you, hey, I keep hearing you thinking it's like Left 4 Dead or Back 4 Blood. It's not that at all. It's this. And, we get to hear it from them as to what they wanted to put in the game. And Todd, of course, is going to explain what he wants about his game, right? So I think that's a good thing. That's great. And they're giving it its time. The interesting thing is, we have Bethesda and its marketing machine, which has been hit or miss. It's been not terrible, but it's not been the greatest either. And then Xbox in the past was really good at doing these kind of things, hyping things up, having New York launch events, right? I don't think that happens now. And I wonder if that's something they need to bring back, right? So that's what they need to. This is a big game. I would put this at Halo CE, maybe even you're saying Halo 3. I would say it's Halo CE. This is the launch of this generation, right? This is what they need. This is going to be the game for this generation, right? Halo failed, and Infinite was supposed to launch the gen, and Halo Infinite, let's just face it, it did not meet expectations because of the content, right? It was a content drought, and the game itself was good, but first it didn't even make launch, and then when it came out, it sort of hit us with no co-op, no Forge, no content, right? So that kind of failed. This is what they're banking this generation on, so they do need to make a big showing of it, right? Now, will they go to that level where they've had before, where there's a launch party? There's there's people getting maybe a Starfield specific console, right? Would that be something they would do like they did with Halo Infinite as an Xbox Series X Halo edition, right? Will they have a Starfield edition? It makes sense. It's a good thing to do. I don't know if they thought that through or not, right? Maybe they have a stockpile of those. I don't know, right? But that would be something you should do with this. This is a big game. It is a big game, right? It is very rare that you have somebody like Bethesda who's got gaudy games, right? And this is their next new IP, right? It's a big deal, and this game will be a large game, like you're saying. The only game I could think of coming close is Zelda. I think Zelda will still. It's Zelda.
Oh,
right?
Zelda's going to be huge, dude.
It's gonna be big,
it's gonna make you stop playing other games. There's no doubt about it. Yeah,
it will. So yes, and I don't think they can't do enough. That's the thing, right? So it's not like they should say, oh, is this too far? No, there's nothing too far. Do everything. Go as far as you can. You should just do everything, right? This is a big deal. Take it to the next level. Be the Microsoft and go do it. Go make this something big. I hope they do, right? But we'll see. So the first showcase is more of the games that are Forza Motorsport. We know people are going to just play it who like Forza games, right? They're going to play that game, right? They don't really need to sell that. It's a racing sim, and people already know that franchise is the 8th one, right? So they got it. Redfall's going to need some nice intro though. So hopefully they do a good job with that. Minecraft Legends could be an interesting game too. So it's interesting that they're putting that in there, and they threw out the little teaser about some ZeniMax Online stuff, right? So we'll see what that looks like. But yeah, if Starfield is getting its own treatment, I like that. That's a good thing. I hope they go full bore, go all out, have a launch event, like make this a big deal. Do the thing you're supposed to do, like make this a big deal. We've been lacking that for a long time. I think
listen,
it needs to happen. Bring the community together. Bring
Yes.
up the hype. Make it happen, right? This is a big game for Xbox. Let's do it.
Well, first of all, the hype man, Keasante, behind this is none other than the best leather-wearing jacket dude in the business, Todd Howard himself. Now,
The God.
I don't know whether God Howard to Pong Soul, who's in the chat, by the way. So shout out to Pong, Still Rain, and several others. Here's the thing. Not sure whether you saw In Exile. Well, they're a bunch of teasers. And they put out there a space backpack and a helmet on what looked like to be on a kitchen like counter of some sorts, and said we like special editions or something to that effect.
Okay.
To Hargeet's point, the fact that we have confirmation from everyone that needs to confirm anything that's important for Xbox, that Starfield is going to get the stage. It's going to get a 30 or 40-minute event to itself. We're going to see gameplay, new gameplay. They're going to tell us everything about the game. I would imagine a launch date is going to be a part of that conversation. I believe, again, adding to Hargeet's conversation, this has to be you're ringing the bell. Like like you going to the top of the tower when you're ringing the bell. I want special edition controllers, consoles, special edition packaging. I want this is going to be one of the biggest games, not just this generation. I think that this game has the potential to be bigger than even Skyrim. I really, really do. I'm putting a lot of emphasis on them delivering. This is Todd Howard's baby, folks. But, again, for you, Keasante, you and I have talked exclusively on this. Messaging is majorly important.
Key.
And a lot of these big companies, they get it right sometimes, and a lot of times they get it wrong. Microsoft, unfortunately, has had the unfortunate knack of getting it wrong more than they get it right when it comes to these kind of messaging. And I'm proud of everyone there. They got out there and they told us that this game, the biggest game of the year, potentially the decade, is getting its own show. What are your thoughts on that, man? Did they do their job?
Oh yeah. I think they did. They did exactly their job, but I think they did their job in an interesting way. The job that they did was listen to their consumers. They've been listening for a while, but now the way they seem to respond was a direct correlation to questions that was asked, to narratives that we're building in the community, literally verbatim. It's like they took notes, right? And then they answered it exactly in the way to let you know, yeah, we heard you, right? So I personally think that with this move that they're making, and we said this before, they know how to start the year off right. Every year, think about it. Even during the pandemic, even before, say what you will about how the year ends. Sometimes it's great, sometimes not so much, but they know how to start the engines revving. They do it pretty well and consistent every year. And this year's no different, right? And this year, the reason why I think it may be a turning of the page, which excites me, is not only are they, oh, we heard you, we knew we screwed up last year with what we didn't do. So right from jump, this is what we're doing. Oh, and by the way, yeah, we heard you about that other thing too. It's getting its own separate thing, right? So does that excite me? Hell yeah, 100%. I think this is great. I've said this before. To me, the start of every new year is like a mini next generation, right? Whenever the last gen is dead, you shake it off. Yeah, they lost that time. And then the next gen is the potential for new things, right? All things are fair game at that point. The ones that were lacking all generation have a chance to catch up because we're back to even Steven. That's what this year brings. So all the ridiculous, oh, they didn't do this, they should have done that, they should have been at the game. All that is water under the bridge at this point. We now want to see what 2023 will bring. And this is a great move in their part, in my opinion. What I want to see, and yes, I'm totally excited to see Starfield. I completely agree with you as how big it will be, because I probably am on this panel, probably played No Man's Sky and its ilk more than anyone else. and that was more because, hey, the limitless space and all that is amazing. Yeah, they're doing it on an indie budget, so there's certain gaps that need to be filled. But one day we'll get there. And then Starfield went, screw that, we're getting there now. So I'm excited to see us actually get there. Right? You're in a No Man's Sky situation. You get off your ship, and now you're in Skyrim in space. Excellent. I'm there for it. Right now. I still people are awesome and excited about these dates, and I want to see gameplay, I want to see dates, all true. But I want to see different kind of dates. I want to see what they've described now. Good start. They're telling us there'll be a Skyrim direct, a Starfield direct, if you will, right? I want to see others. Show me dates of the roadmap. I don't care about the games. I care more about the shows. Why? Yeah. Because you can't keep showing me the same crap every show. It means you'll have more things to show, right? Yeah. I'm sick and tired of knowing you have all these studios and all these things, and you show nothing. So don't show me the games. They will come with the shows. Show me the shows. How many shows you having? Oh, you finished this? You're doing the Starfield one? What after that? Yeah, you'll have E3. What after that? There needs to be a consistency. Whether it be 20 minutes here, 30 minutes there, full show with people, some shows with no announcers at all. I don't care. I just want more shows, because more shows equals more content of all kinds, right? You want to be only 12 months at E3? Great. Continue to be just 12 months at E3. All these other shows can show me the future. I'm good with it. I just need to see more consistency, right? I need to see more stuff. I was talking to Mr. BoomStick in the DMs and in the background. They hired excellent videographers and really excellent folks in the industry. You've been watching IGN for years. Some of the top names at IGN now work for Microsoft doing this work. They hired them, and they're doing that. So as much as I'm excited for Starfield and Redfall and all the names we've heard over and over and over and over and over again, I don't want to hear them anymore. I want to hear them when there's a date and I can have it in my hand. And then I want to hear new names. Not the same ones over and over and over again, right? I want Hellblade to be in my hand so I can see what's after, right? We've been hearing about the same ones too long. And now here we are, water under the bridge. They've already started the year with one solidified show and one potential right after. I'm excited. I think it's great. Let's keep that momentum going, because, for me, every show equals either new content from a game we know, or new games we've never heard of before. So I really don't care about what you're going to show me. The fact that you have a show excites me, because that tells me there's a potential for new things. And I need to see that happen more now. And here we are.
I think we're going to get that. Look, I'll say this. What they're going to do for the remainder of this 6 months that they had from last E3 is, we already, the planning stage is there. Now, where they all fall in this next 6 months from January to June, we have no idea, right? There's some suggestion that we could get Forza Motorsport later. We could get Redfall in May, and we are, most of us, expecting Starfield to hit 3/23/23. And the reason why I'm really sticking to that date isn't because I was told anything. It's because if you're a fan of Todd Howard, you understand that he has a thing for dates, and more importantly than that, he loves to launch things around important events that have happened. And specifically, if you are a fan of NASA, if you're a fan of what this, of space, NASA notoriously has done multiple launches on that specific date. They love doing these satellite launches, these shuttle launches, different missions that they've conducted on that particular date. So it makes sense, right? Starfield, space, NASA, it all kind of works out, if you will. Dutch, let's get your opinion on this, brother. I mean, this was an important move. And I know there's some people in the chat like, yeah, it's not that big of a deal. Trust me when I tell you, folks, it's a big deal, because what they have done for themselves is address the elephant in the room and let us know that one of the most anticipated games this year is not only coming out this year, It is going to get its own dedicated show, and I've heard some talk about a delay to November, folks. It's not getting delayed. The official Starfield account said it's launching in the first 6 months. That's confirmed. What for you? Was this the right move for Microsoft?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's more for me. It was the right move in terms of the actual dev showcase. Anyway, we've already had, specifically last year, we had a more in-depth look at Starfield to begin with. What we haven't had is an actual proper in-depth look at what Redfall is, its open world, and kind of more of the enemies and kind of what we can come to expect within Redfall properly. We've had a bit of that already for Starfield. We've seen the crafting, we've seen the base building, we've seen the ship building, we've seen space combat, we've seen exploration. So we've seen Starfield, as it were. Right now, the in-depth look at Starfield and having its separate showcase will go more, I think, into kind of maybe some of the characters, a little bit of story teaser. It'll kind of embellish that world a little bit more and kind of showcase a little bit more of, should we say, the polish that they've brought to it there, from when it was previously shown to now. So I think it was the right move anyway, giving more airtime to Redfall and Forza and Minecraft Legends. And if you have a look at them anyway, the games that were kind of announced, I think it's going to be about a 45-minute show, so it's going to be thereabouts, kind of 10 minutes ish for each one of them. And then, of course, we'll have I would imagine, a little segment that talks about things coming to Game Pass, additions to Game Pass, or the family plan and things like that. But it's the perfect. I think it's just perfectly segmented away from it, because they've already showcased quite a chunk of Starfield previously. Instead of taking the shine away from Redfall, which we haven't really seen a proper breakdown for, and given that its due spotlight and given that the attention, I think that's kind of the big standout for me. I'm really hyped for Starfield, don't get us wrong, but the more I learn about Redfall, the more I'm getting hyped for it.
Yep.
And especially the news that id were working on them specifically for combat and gunplay. I was like, okay, this game's just went up a notch. Like, we know the gameplay and the gunplay is going to be absolutely fire now, because id have been working on them specifically for that. But then to get the kind of the more in-depth side of things about kind of the audio at work, and if you're walking through a cornfield at night and you can hear whispers of vampires and things like that. Like, I want to see that type of stuff in the showcase and see what that's about. From the Starfield perspective, I think they absolutely. I think for both of these showcases, they're going to give us the release dates. And I absolutely agree with everybody when they mentioned special edition stuff. I've said that before. I said it would be remiss of Xbox to completely sidetrack and kind of not actually grasp the importance of what this is to Todd and Bethesda. The first new IP in 2 decades for Bethesda. Something that they've tried to get going for a long time, and eventually they managed to get it going, and get the idea underway. And it would be remiss for Xbox to not take the opportunity to do your custom consoles and your custom controllers and your swag and do a big blowout as a separate event for it, because it is the biggest thing that's happened for Bethesda, like I mentioned, for 2 decades. Yes, they've had the Fallout 76 spin-off, and yes, they've had Arcane's new games, but Bethesda Game Studios themselves, outside from Fallout 76 and Elder Scrolls Online, which was ZeniMax, not Bethesda, it's a big deal for them. So I'm glad Xbox are giving them their own moment, do that separately, and give it its roses, as they say, give it its time to shine by itself.
I agree.
Do it properly. If you're going to do the announcement, if you're going to give the official, actual end release date, I know Bethesda were ultimately very confident in the previous one, but Xbox weren't. Xbox said, no, you take more time and you get rid of those little bit of bug fester things we used to. And you polish that up. Because if this is gonna be 2 decades in the making, you want to come with your A game. You don't want to come with your traditional kind of thing that people are going to pick apart. If this is truly your baby, you take that extra time, and we'll release it in the right state. Hopefully that is the case. Hopefully that shows in what we're going to see in its own separate event. But yeah, they'd be remiss, I think, if Xbox didn't do something special for Bethesda with limited edition items and things. But yeah, I'm super hyped for both of them. It's a great start of the year. Shout out to obviously Jez Corden and Windows Central for getting that information exact to the time and to the day. So awesome stuff. Yeah, super hyped. Can't wait.
Yeah, me too. Crispy, let's grab your opinion on this. Crispy, this is a big deal. I'm happy because obviously this is their first show. Now, you got to understand, they're towing a lot of baggage, Microsoft, right? We're coming off of 2022 that, depending on who you ask, they didn't deliver on first party. Now, I will not say the same thing for Game Pass. Game Pass over-delivered, in my opinion. That's a fact. But their first party didn't, and we understand why. Things weren't ready. Things had to get delayed. Well, life sucks sometimes, right? But I think one of the bigger disappointments of last year for Xbox was the surprising no-show at the Game Awards, right? Like, I mean, look, I have my feelings for Jeff, right? I respect what he does. I think he's an important person in the gaming industry. I just don't like some of the way he does his things when it comes to, if you're an ambassador, you're supposed to represent the populace. He doesn't do that properly sometimes. He narrows it down to Kojima and Sony. And I understand you can be a fan. He's a fan. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you are supposed to be someone that is representing everyone, you kind of got to do the right thing by everyone involved. That means Xbox, Nintendo, and Sony. He doesn't do that. So I don't know what happened, honestly, that Microsoft completely pulled the rug out from under him and didn't have anything. That's quite shocking. And I think it's bad for Jeff. And more importantly, it's bad for Microsoft because there are millions upon millions of eyes and ears on this show. So this opening salvo has to be a big winner for Microsoft, and I believe it's going to be. The games they're going to show extended gameplay on is something we've all been asking for, Crispy. But before we get into what's going to be at this show, I want to get your opinion on the importance of solidifying where Starfield exists and that fact that it's getting its own show.
Yeah, I mean, because, a lot of people were going off the rails like, oh, that means it's delayed, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, hold your horses. If they're going to do it right, they're going to treat Starfield like the golden goose, and they are going to give it its due diligence. The game is much larger than anything we have ever seen, okay? This game is going to be so big that they could show us hours upon hours of gameplay and mechanics and all these other things, and people are still going to just want to play it more. Okay, this is a true Bethesda game. It is a new IP, and don't be surprised that down the road you see Starfield Online. I mean, come on, they got to keep that rolling. But they have been properly able to separate the two. They just tried to combine them in 76, and now they're trash all of a sudden, people. Like, come on. Like, give me a break, okay? And they kind of went back to the roots, and what they say, like 16 million or something like that. Like 16 million people are playing it, have played it. Like, come on. You know what I mean? Like you have to realize that it's Bethesda we're talking about. And I think a lot of people that say that, Microsoft's like, nah, that bug's not going to work. Now, I want to be fair here. We've seen a lot of Game of the Year contenders that have bugs. Okay, so including Fallout 3, Elder Scrolls, etc. You know what I mean? But also we've seen many games on Sony's side that have had plenty of bugs that people try to ignore, which is quite funny to me. But if it's on the Xbox side, we get the heat. Now, we did rightfully give them the heat for last year, but now they have delivered, and they've also itemized it almost. It's like an itemized list now of what they're doing. Like they're basically telling us everything up front. So then there's no expectation of some kind of, if they do throw something in there, then it really will be, you know what I mean? Like something like special, you know what I mean? Something exciting, because you'll be like, oh, I thought that was it. I thought that they were done. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things. They could do that, but they have already told us what they're going to do. So we have to expect that. And there's one thing I ask when you do this Starfield show, whether it be, a launch event, whatever you want to call it, for the love of God, Xbox, I want to see Starfield after that point, before the actual launch of the game, plastered everywhere. I want it on buses. I want it, in subways. I want it, even if it's just Starfield, and a quick little, thing during the NFL playoffs. I want to see Starfield all over the place. Okay. Because you need to push the game. People sometimes just forget, oh yeah, that's coming. Oh yeah. You know what I mean? And that's something that you got to do, Xbox. Please do that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree. And I think they're going to. This is a big game, folks. This is a really big game. And I hope that is all the bells and whistles and the flair and the excitement that we all expect. Mag, let's get your opinion on this, brother. You have been also very, very on top of, not afraid to criticize Microsoft when they drop the ball.
Yeah.
This is one of those instances where we have to applaud them. Obviously, we have confirmation to show what's happening, and we're going to get into that because there's going to be more. There's more to this show than you think. I am telling you, there is definitely something coming on the back end of this show that is going to be surprising. We're going to get into that momentarily, but for you, learning that one of their biggest new IPs, one of Bethesda's biggest new IPs in what seems like decades, is going to get its own shine. What are your thoughts on that?
It's going to be exciting. And the thing is, I'm excited about the game, but I've been sort of muted on this game. And the reason why is because I don't know too much. Actually, the most information I got about this game is Wandering Dutch's video that he posted almost a year ago. I've watched that a bunch of times because he talked about the different factions and and I thought that was a fantastic video, and it really delved deep into something that I knew nothing about, because as it stands right now, whether people agree with me or not, we really don't know what this is about. It just kind of shows a guy, or a gal, whatever you want to be, and then they go off to a planet and they, kind of find some plants, do this and that, shoot a bunch of people. Who the hell are these people? What's going on? Who's the protagonist? Who's the bad guy? Who's the good guy? Who's the what? You know what I'm saying? What are we doing? And this is what they need to get into. And this is going to tie directly into what Crispy was talking about the advertising. Okay, the advertising, they're going to have to, like the game, whether it's great or not, it might not hit. It has to hit, first of all. That's the thing. I think that the entire generation and everything moving forward for Xbox, this has to hit, because as Hargate had mentioned earlier, Halo was supposed to be the one to drive the new generation. That clearly didn't happen. All right, it was a great game, but it did not move the needle enough in order to drive the It was not the Iron Man of the MCU. You know what I'm getting at? It was more of the Incredible Hulk, okay, that came before it. The Incredible Hulk was supposed to launch the MCU. It did not. Iron Man did a year later, right? So that's what ended up happening. So this is the exact same thing here. Starfield has to be the Iron Man of the Xbox going forward. All right, it has to launch everything. It all hinges on this. And a lot of people say, no, it doesn't. Yes, it does. Okay, because Redfall might be great, might be fantastic, but it's not big enough as it stands right now. Starfield is riding on a lot. It's riding on history. It's riding on previous IP and the previous games in the stable, and the Bethesda stable. But look who you're going up against with the Skyrims and everything else, right? And the Fallouts. This is where this game is going to be. So this is where they have to do it. They have to market it as the greatest game that's ever released. It, just like Crispy said, it better be on the sides of skyscrapers. It better be on subways. It better be on every single bus stop in the entire planet. Everywhere you go, Starfield has to be there. Now, couple that with the fact that they're going to have to do real cinematic commercials to turn heads. It can't just be jumping off, shooting a couple of dudes, grabbing your gun, going to the next room, shoot a couple. Everybody's seen that 1,000 times, and nobody cares. As soon as they see that kind of stuff on a regular TV with regular people watching football, all right, the playoffs are coming up, right, next week. And so, go Bills. So anyways, there's all of those things, right? And so because of that, you're going to get the normies. The normies are the ones you want to attract. We're all in. Everybody on this panel, everybody in the chat, we're in. We're already in like Flint. We've got Game Pass till 2076. We're fine. Okay? It's the other people. It's the other people who are sitting down watching TV go, what the hell is that? They need to be the ones who've got salsa dripping down their jerseys as they're watching football and talking to their friends, and they're cracking open another Schlitz beer, and they look over and they go, what the hell? Yo, shut up over there. Hold on. What is this? And then they they turn the TV up a little bit and they start watching that trailer. The trailer needs to, as the kids like to say, the trailer needs to slap. Okay? It needs to hit hard, and it's got to be cinematic. It's got to be Hollywood. It's got to be all those things where people go, whoa, what is this? Because that's the one thing, as I've said a million times before, take the page from Sony. There's nothing to be ashamed of. Sony owns Hollywood studios. They own movie studios. Absolutely. They own animated studios. So why do you think their game trailers are so goddamn good? It's because their Hollywood people are doing their trailers.
Yeah.
Right? Take a page from them. Even if you don't like, people can say whatever they want about Sony. Take a page from their marketing and do it like that. That's how you get it going. And that's how you get the normies to, like I said, wipe the salsa off their shirt and the nachos off their pants and go, whoa, what the hell was that? Let me see this. What is this on? And it shows the Xbox insignia, Game Pass, or whatever, right? So that's what they need to do. Okay, now the last thing I wanted to say before I pass on the mic here is that the game eventually, first of all, you're going to have to give us that date. You have to give us a date, and it's got to be solid. It's got to be rock solid. It cannot be maybe. No maybes. Give us the date. Give us the final date and end it already. Yeah. We've been talking about this game for 2 years. Yeah. I'm sick of it. You know what I wanted? You know what I want to deal with it now? I want to play it.
Yeah.
And that's what it all comes down to. Now, never mind all the hullabaloo that I just talked about, which is kind of funny that I'm about to dismiss everything I just said. The game's got to speak for itself.
Yeah,
the game's got to be hot. It's got to be good. It's got to be well-paced. It's got to be amazing. I don't want it to drag. 1,000 Planets sounds a little bit overwhelming, but let's make sure that this game moves in a great direction that keeps people's interest alive, right? That oh, damn it, I can't think of the word I'm trying to say here. The systems where you could, a system where you could build upon, where you could build your character, an RPG system of sorts, right? Who knows how this is all going to work out properly, but these are the things that needs to be done. Let the game speak for itself once it's in gamers' hands. That's the other thing. So that's the responsibility of the developers to make sure that this game is amazing as soon as it gets into people's hands and that people start talking about it and say, boom, I've been playing this game for 4 straight days. I haven't slept. You know what I'm saying? I've been drinking coffee. I've been doing whatever I had to do, Monster Energy drinks until I'm shaking like a leaf. But I'm playing this game because I can't turn it off. This is how you that's another form of advertising because, yes, the main advertising deals with the general public, but what gets the community hyped? Not the commercials on TV so much. It's us talking to each other.
Yeah.
Where did the players,
those
the other
water
people
cooler moments?
Exactly. Thank you. Yeah. And the other thing, what about Twitter? What about our followers? What about our listeners, our fans, our friends, our colleagues? Who do we really listen to? Do we go to, honestly, do you think about it? Do you always go to Metacritic first? Or do you ask Asante? Or do you ask Dutch? Or do you ask Hargeet? Or Crispy Bomb? Or Everborn? Wherever he is right now. And Boom. And whoever else you listen to and trust. You know how many people hit me up in DMs? Boom, I'm sure, and everybody else in this panel, I'm sure it happens all the time. Hey, what do you think about this game? I heard you're playing it. And they ask me all the time. People ask me all the time for my opinion because they respect my opinion, which, of course, I absolutely am just flabbergasted. And I adore the fact that people respect my opinion, right? And I'm sure, like it says, it happens to every single one of you. So if the game is hot to me, I'm going to advertise that to every single person that I talk to. And when I do shows like this, and I do other future shows on different channels and everything else with Colt and whoever else, and eventually Rand. And anyways, so
he took a picture of you and he posted you asleep.
Yeah, oh no, it's coming. I guarantee it in the next half hour. He did it. By the way, he did it to me last week. I forgot to mention it on the air. But anyways, that's you know what I mean? You start talking about those things on those shows, thousands and thousands and thousands of people listen to those shows. We think the Xbox guys are dumb. They know that. They know. Why do you think they listen to your show, Boom? They got their finger on the pulse because they know that you have your finger on the pulse of the community. And this is how word spreads. So anyways, the point is marketing got to be on point, and the developers have to be on point with the way the game ends up in the end. And I'm excited to see it, but I want a date.
Yeah.
So I can plan my bloody
I would
year.
imagine, he again, if you're a fan of Todd Howard, and really who isn't? I mean, he's awesome. And he's always been, for the people, by the people kind of a developer.
Right. Yes, absolutely.
He'll come out there and he'll be like, yeah, this is gameplay, and he's going to give us a date. I don't know for sure if it's 3/23/23. I could be totally wrong. I don't. Again, if Redfall is May, and hypothetically, folks, that Motorsport is June. Let's just say, for instance. Where do you put this game? Well, it seems like it would be fair and probably a smart way to do business if you put it in April, right?
Yep.
Or March would be, which fall for that 3/23/23. I don't want to see them eating each other's lunch. I want each one to shine. I want them to have their own time with the fans. Starfield is so big and it's so bombastic that people are gonna need time to take it in. You know what I'm saying? Because again, you got to remember, March is a big month for a lot of games. A lot of games are coming out, right? A lot of big games. So, people are going to have to find time. And that's where the advertising comes in. They have to sell this game to the people. It's a new IP. You have to go all out. Like I said, I want special edition consoles. I want a collector's edition. I want controllers. I want commercials on buses. I want basketball courts on the floor. You name it. Let's do it. And that's how they should look at this. But I do want to move on, folks, to one of the bigger topics, and that's the actual show of what we know is coming. But like I said in the opening, I think we're going to get a whole lot of more. And I think, Kay Asante, I'm going to go to you first on this. I think we're going to see the return of we got one more thing for you. I really, really think that if you want to put the stake in the ground that Xbox is going to be the best box in 2023, that you have a great show. You show us Forza, you show us Minecraft, you show us a whole bunch of gameplay from Redfall, you show us some stuff of upcoming events for ESO, which again, that's not for me, but that is for a bunch of people. Millions of people play it every day because they like the Elder Scrolls Online. So it may not be for me, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't play it. If you're a fan, you should enjoy it. But before I do, I have to catch up on the Super Chats. Been a lot of them.
Yep.
We have Drawn TJ, generous friend of the program, drops the opening salvo Super Chat of $5. He says, hello, my favorite friends, and hello and shout out to you, Drawn TJ. Sith Lord, who's been a channel member for 6 months. He had a fender bender the other day. He got rear-ended, and thankfully he's okay. But there's a knucklehead kid. What were they doing? On their phone. So there you go. He drops a $2 Super Chat and says, don't skip the biggest news. Oreo Xbox cookies. Yes, that is game breaking news. That's going to change. Who's PlayStation? They don't have cookies. The garbage, right? Casket Repair, who's been a channel member for over a year, 20 months, as a matter of fact. Thanks so much for that. He says, seems the Xbox devs forming their own studio helps the ABK deal. Of course, he's talking about the 10 developers that left Playground. They have formed their own new studio, which I'm very excited for. They're making an open world AAA game, and I'm very excited for that team. I know we talked about that on the Xbox Factor podcast. The sky isn't falling, folks. Playground's going to be okay. Trust me when I tell you. But I'm glad to see that they have these 10 developers that have formed this new studio. They're going to venture out to make something new. And who knows? Maybe they will be acquired by Microsoft at some point. It happened to Jade Raymond, right? She got acquired by her new studio that was only formed a couple of months, and Sony picked up on them. Well, there you go. Lone Cavalier has become a new channel member. Hey, dude, welcome to the program, and thank you for joining the channel. Mr. Nichols drops a very generous $2 Super Chat, and he's telling me, thank you, Boom, and it's my pleasure, Mr. Nichols. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the generosity. Sir X-Man drops a $2 Super Chat and says, Forza Perfect 10, Game of the Year. It will happen. I mean, I don't know if it's going to be Game of the Year because it has a lot of competition, but it'll definitely be Racer of the Year. There's no doubt about that. That's like an easy drop in the bucket. Tom from Tsunami, who's been a channel member for 2 months, drops a very generous $5 super chat and says, Todd said in an interview he'd give a week notice before release. So to think that he wouldn't give a month or two after the deep dive is wrong. Yeah, he's gonna give us a release date, folks. I'm telling you, he is. Sir X-Man drops an additional $5 super chat and says, boom, do you think they're gonna have real racers review Forza? I don't know so much about that. I don't know. I mean, I'm sure that for fun they'll have some racers come in and say, "Hey, listen, you've raced on this track. What do you think?" I'm sure they're doing it right now, and they'll be like, "Wow, this looks freaking real." Or will they have someone that they don't know about anything about racing games? I mean, that's the gaming meter is a funny batch. Let me tell you something. And you know something, folks? I don't want to turn this into I hate the media, because I don't. Okay, I don't want to do that. I am going to tell you that with the year that Xbox has on paper, remember they have to deliver, folks. On paper, it is a banner year. If you start to see games like Redfall and Motorsport that are just great in every aspect and they get tanked in the reviews, that's where then you're going to see who the true bias entities are, whether that be IGN, GameSpot, Kotaku, Game Rant, you name it. Pick what your favorite flavor. You'll be able to know. Because at some point, I've said this before and I'll say it again, Microsoft is not going to be ignored anymore. And I think that starts this year for sure. Highlander 001 drops a $5 super chat and says, players known Starfield is coming, and you know when the deep dive comes and the show how great the game is. Sony players will be mad Jim could not get it. Well, they tried. A lot of people maybe don't know that. They tried to lock that up exclusively forever, folks. Not for a timed exclusive. They tried to get the game forever. And then Microsoft came in like the big bankers that they are and just bought the whole company. And, well, Sony's shit out of luck, so to speak. So there's that. I got sold. Drops a very generous $2 super chat. And he says, Mag is spitting facts right now. Damn. There you go. Okay, Sante, look, we have confirmation from Xbox that the event is happening on January 25th. Is going to be 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 8 p.m., I believe, UK time. And for our friends and family on the West Coast, which is not the best coast, by the way, that's the East Coast, sorry, that's going to be at 12 p.m. We are on this channel, on this podcast, we'll be covering everything that happened because we're all going to watch like fans. And then that night, we're going to have a panel that's expected to be 10 or 12 deep. I already know several guests that are coming. OBM is going to be here. Special Nick from Xbox Era is also going to be here. And I have a few other guests lined up. It's going to be a big show. And we're all going to be reacting to what we saw on that show. But listen, Microsoft has put down, hey, folks, this is expectations. This is what's coming. But we saw today 2 big pieces of info that we all feel are going to be there. And I think it's what we've all been expecting. Ubisoft Plus is now a category. Their games are now a category on, I believe, on the PC version.
Yeah, Xbox Game Pass PC. Yes.
So you would imagine that is going to be happening for the console proper. And it's expected that Ubisoft, with all their big games, are going to be dropping and announced at this show. We also heard, we saw, thanks to Idle Sloth, the robot detective, someone snapped a picture of Welcome to Xbox Friends and Family on the US side. So that's finally launching as well. 2 big pieces of newsworthy announcements at this show. It is an Xbox show, so you think that they would drop it there. So with what we think we know, what we have been confirmed from Microsoft, do you think that this is going to be a show that is maybe going to turn some heads? But more importantly, is this an opportunity for Microsoft to bring back the one more thing and give us something special to close it out?
Absolutely, 100%, absolutely. I think it, like you've expertly pointed out. They have literally they can't screw it up this year. It's not possible. You know, a lot of delays, and it's not to say that they screwed it up in the past. You know, delays happen, right? PlayStation had awesome games this year that were supposed to come out last year. It is what it is, right? But because they've had that, we now find ourselves, well, last year we found ourselves in a disappointing situation. Now we find ourselves in a time where there's just too much to show, right? There's too many potentials coming down the pipe, right? And I'm really excited to see them finally, you know, start with that cadence. And you know, yeah, there's context in the background, but none of that matters. You're here, you're gamers, you're excited to see the games. We're here to show them to you, right? I know that me personally, I'm most aren't a fan of that whole E3 thing where they only showed you 12 months. I thought it was great as long as they keep the cadence going, and as long as there's more shows where you can show us other things, right? If you can show us other things in these different shows, in these directs, in these, you know, developers come out, you know, you can show us whatever you want, because there's no cadence, there's no rules. You can show us, you can give us new code names to harp over and decipher as to what they mean. And then in the E3, you can just show us what we're playing again for the next 12 months. I'm okay with it, right? I want that next one. Yes, one more thing, right? That's the opportunity to show us, hey, you know, we've been showing you guys, we showed you guys Avowed. That's still not here yet, but hey, here's something a little from another team. You know, here's something that, I don't know, the Coalition has been working on, their little side project. It's nowhere near done, but here you go. You know, these are the things that you can show and let people go, oh wow, there are still, you know, the kitchen's still full. There's still cooks in there, and they're showing you interesting stuff that's coming, right? And that's why I was saying before that, you know, I want to see more of the roadmap than I do the actual games, because the roadmap will bring things like that. You can't come to the same to multiple shows with the exact same thing over and over again. That would not it wouldn't fly, right? So exactly to your point, right? I want them to come, you know, show all the stuff they want to show, you know, all the gameplay that we've been missing, you know, show all the stuff with, I don't know, ooh, look at that super chat. It's rare that you see that color. Congratulations, sir.
Wow,
anyway,
that is,
yes,
we will get to that momentarily. Please continue your point. That is,
yes. No,
yikes.
You know, it's an exciting time, right? It is an exciting time. You can literally be a kid in the candy store again. You can, you know, there's so much potential ahead of us, right? And I want Microsoft not to squander it. I want them, you know, to start that, because Phil Spencer said it so far in the past, that they want to start creating that flywheel where just when you get bored, another one shows up, right? Which is where Netflix is now, right? Just when you're done with that great show, another movie comes out, or you finish that movie, the zeitgeist ends, and there's another one hitting. Microsoft is primed to get there. They're primed to do that, right? So the one more thing is very important, you know. And then if you want to be E3 and go, oh, well, hey, remember we showed you the last 12 months? Here's the next 12 months. I'm cool with that. I am as long as there are other venues where you can give us some moonshots, where you can give us, hey, this is what it looks like a year from now. Oh, you've heard the Avowed and the Starfield and the this and the that you keep regurgitating. Here's a new one to share with you, right? So that's awesome. I am absolutely excited. And I think all gamers should be excited for this time, you know. And don't count out PlayStation as well, right? They're also quietly churning.
Dude, this is
going to
be look, Xbox is going to have a banner year, but let's not make a mistake that everyone involved is going to have a ridiculous year. I don't care where you play. There is going to be something for everyone. I'm going to say something that might be considered ludicrous. There might be too many games, folks.
Oh yeah,
like literally too many games.
Yeah. We're talking right now only first party. The third party is primed to eat you alive. Like, there's just so many games this year.
I have 23 games already before June.
There you go.
23 before June that I need to play. That's out of the 33 big ones that are coming out.
Yeah.
not even including little ones in the middle.
And we tend to be Game Pass and PlayStation Plus subscribers. Between the stuff that's entering those subscription services and the new unforeseen, unknown things that we're going to be playing, it is going to be an awesome year. I'm super excited, right? You know, so the gamer in me is just jumping up and down, ready for what's next, right? You know, and then those of us that have been paying attention to this for a while are like, this is it. This is what we've been waiting for. We've been waiting for them to finally like just start that wheel. I'm not talking domination. I'm talking competition. That's what I'm talking. You know, you bring us something amazing, and then your competitor brings something amazing, and then there's more amazing. And all the while, us gamers are sitting back going, oh my God, this is amazing, right? So that's what I'm here for. I'm excited for it. And if they don't do the one more thing, yeah, this righteous smoke will billow, and it will be what it will be. And I'll just sit back and just take it all in because it'll be well deserved.
I hope that they do. Like I said, this is an opportunity. I mean, I'm not saying maybe they didn't start it, right? Maybe it wasn't Microsoft. You know, we know that, you know, we had the roll up sleeve with the tattoo of Halo and GTA
Yeah.
4, and that was kind of like, I mean, that's epic stuff.
Technically, one more thing started with Steve Jobs and Apple.
But there you go.
We have one more thing. That was
I love it.
That was a Steve Jobs thing. But yes, it needs to still continue to permeate within the gaming sphere.
Well,
Sure.
you know what? To be fair, and why I want to put the pressure on Microsoft to deliver just that is because they have so many games in development. You know, you can show a piece. I know a lot of people, and again, I might get booed on my own show for this. I don't care about CG trailers. If you've given me just a glimpse into something that we've never seen before, I don't care. But what if they put something? And again, again, expectations, folks. I don't want to be the one to rebel rouse everyone, as that Boomstick said, because then I'm going to get, you know, attacked.
Then you're gonna get your smoke, right?
And I'm going to get my smoke. I do want the one more thing, only because they have so many bullets in the chamber, right? I mean, we have no idea what Compulsion is doing. And Phil Spencer said that's one of his most anticipated game reveals yet. Like, out of everything that we don't and we haven't seen, that's the one that jumps off the page. I know they could show a trailer for Avowed or Fable or Perfect Dark or something. It doesn't even have to be extensive. It could be just one more thing. Lights go black. It shows a trailer and everyone is cheering in their chairs and everyone's out.
We've lost our minds on CG trailers before. Why not?
I
Let's
certainly
go.
have. That's for sure. Mag, let's bring you in on a conversation,
Yes,
because you have to get out of here specifically at 9:00 exactly. So let's get to it. The show is happening. Microsoft came out. They confirmed it for January 25th. We know what's going to be there. What we're hearing and what we're starting to see leaked, and I know Microsoft hates these leaks, is that friends and family, which I think comes at a perfect time in the United States. And but you know what? Actually, Mag, before I get to you,
yes,
I gotta address the elephant in the room. Respawn Dead drops what is now the second largest super chat that I have ever received in my existence of 5 years on YouTube, of $400. Like, I mean, when people give me $5, I you don't see me on camera blushing, but I don't do this for money, folks. Like, it is a part. It has become a business. Yes. Is it something that I love doing? Absolutely. Do I put the pressure on myself to deliver every show? 100%. That's why I stream 5 days a week. Some people say, Boom, I don't know how you do it. Well, I'm retired technically, but not really. And I love doing this. And I love being a part of this community. And these kind of super chats, first of all, they're ridiculous. And I thank you very much, Respawn Dead, for that. He says, says, you're a good man, Boomstick. Thank you for the content. Well, thank you for the generous donation. And like I said, what these translate into are us giving back. My wife and I are all about paying it forward. We announced earlier this year that one of the big giveaways to help out two entities, both the people, which is you folks, and a developer in question, and that is GSC Game World. They're obviously a team that has Stalker 2 coming out. They don't know who I am, at least not yet. And I don't want to be known as just as the guy that's doing charity. I'm going to try and get some developers on to talk about the game, the development, during a special show that we're going to do. Folks, we are buying 15 copies at full price and donating those 15 copies to the first half of them are going to be channel members, and the second half are going to be anyone that's in the chat. And the way we're going to do it is I'm literally going to buy the codes and send them to you to make sure that those families that were ripped out of Ukraine and are now living in Prague, which I believe that's where they're located now, are going to get their 70+% of the sale. That we know Microsoft takes 30, and maybe even Microsoft at some point will waive it, because of the tragedy that happened to them and their colleagues. I don't know for sure, but I know that this small channel is going to buy 15 copies, and it's because of super chats like this and super chats that I read earlier that we're able to do it, because I'm a retired dude, folks. So there's only so much money that comes in, but understand that to pay it forward, that's what we do with this. So thank you so much for that. But listen, Mag, let's get your opinion on this.
A few more super chats, by the way, Boom.
Oh, there are. Okay, hold on a second. Let me get to them. Hold on just a second. Okay. Sorry about that. Talos, let me get to it. Let me see what we got over here, because sometimes it doesn't load on live.
If you check the private DM.
Okay. Let me check the private. Okay. Yes. Oh, wow. There's quite a few of them. Holy crap. We have I don't know who put this. It's $2. Microsoft needs to acquire Mag. Make him the PR guy. Yes. I love it. Alvin drops a very generous $5 super chat and says BGS has had no problem getting their games into normies' hands for 30 years. I think we can turn down the marketing, worry about a couple of notches. I mean, Bethesda has. They're going to be fine, but I think when you're talking about a game that is significant as Starfield is, I want to see the dial turned up to 23. You know what I'm saying? I'm sorry. I have to agree with Mag here. It has to be balls to the wall marketing. It's got to be on subways. It's got it's got to be everywhere.
Boom.
Mag, you're muted, brother. Mag,
I can hear you through your mute, but still.
Okay, here we go. Coca-Cola's been around for 120 years, right? 130 years, whatever it's been.
Right.
Why do they have to advertise it like maniacs every single football game, baseball game, hockey game, a cricket game, wherever the hell they're playing?
Mindset. Yes, Archie.
Always in your head. That's why. Yep.
Always in your head, man. You got to pump it out. Yep. And Bethesda has got great games over the years, but let's face it, Doom Eternal, barely 3 million copies. That game was amazing.
Fantastic game. Yeah.
One of the best one of the best Dooms ever. Yeah.
Yes, and then the first Doom, not first Doom, but you know what I mean, of the reboot, the 2016 Doom. It's that barely a couple of million too. Fallout 4, one of the biggest successes outside of the Fallout Shelter, which is a mobile game, but that was barely over 10 million or almost 12 million. Yeah. That's not enough. I mean, it's not enough. What I'm saying is it is enough, but it's not enough to carry a generation. That's what I'm talking about. Boom, I think you're away when I said this, that I said Starfield has to be the Iron Man of the Xbox. I
agree.
To kick off, you know what I mean? To kick off this gen proper. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
No. Listen, Iron Man. I don't know whether you like him, like the movie or not. It is the pinnacle film that started the MCU, folks. If it wasn't for Iron Man, there's no MCU. There's no Kang the Conqueror. There's no Thanos. There's nobody. That is the pinnacle film. Real quick, Kingfish, who's been a channel member for 11 months. Welcome and thanks so much for that, brother. He says, evening, Boom, an awesome panel. I'm stocking up on Game Pass because this year is going to be bonkers. Hashtag gaming is for everyone. Absolutely. And Alvin, hey, what's up, brother? Welcome back to the show. He drops a $5 of chances to clarify. I'm not saying they don't need marketing. I'm saying that BGS absolutely know what they're doing and will market well. No need to worry. Absolutely, Alvin.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
Listen, If I put it this way, Bethesda knows how to market better than Microsoft does, Xbox does. Sorry, that's just a fact. That's a fact, the de facto situation. But Mag,
yes,
this show is going to be big. We know what's coming. We have an inkling that we're getting the friends and family plan announced. We have some inkling that Ubisoft Plus finally after being announced in the beginning of last year is coming to Xbox proper. Again, leaks happen. This is such as life. But for you, is this the show that Microsoft needs? And do you want to see the one more thing? Is that important? Is that still an importance to gaming?
Of course it is, because that's the hype piece to keep you, after the show's over, right? You've seen the games, you've seen the things. We know what the games are. They've said, they've said the list of games that are coming out. Show us that one thing that nobody saw, that nobody's seen. The Avowed, I'm kind of 50-50 on, because we've seen a little tiny teaser of it, so you kind of get a little taste of what it is. Show us something that we've never seen, like maybe that game that is it Compulsion that's making that what the hell's it called? Uncharted / damn it, what's the one that's underwater?
Compulsion Games.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's they're making a BioShock meets
That's what
Uncharted.
it is. BioShock, sorry.
Third-person fantasy game. Yeah, that's what the rumor is.
That's the one I was. I couldn't remember the name. BioShock. Drinking a short-term memory loss. Anyhow, no kidding, right? Sorry, but anyways, here's the thing: the BioShock Uncharted game, whatever the hell that game is going to be. I heard about that how many years ago on ILP? You guys remember that? The woman was on ILP. And she told Cognito right there, she's like, oh, yeah, it's a mixture of BioShock and Uncharted. And I was just like, ooh, whoa. Let me see that. I want to see that game. I want to see Lies of P. Okay? Show us Lies of P. I mean, I know we've seen a trailer for it. Give us a date for Lies of P. Get us excited for that game, because that game looks great, too.
They say it's screaming Bloodborne. That's the latest.
Exactly.
The latest
I saw an article
That's
like
right.
that. They said it's shaping up, Mag, to be one of the biggest games of the year. Yeah,
that's right. And it might be Xbox's Bloodborne to Asante's point as well. And now there's that. And then here's the one I want to see personally. Show us Fable. Show us Fable. Yeah. Come on, show us Fable. I know they did like a little CG trailer where the frog eats the fairy, whatever, blah 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 blah. That didn't show us anything. That could have been a commercial for a Pixar movie, right? Could have been like Buzz Lightyear 2, right? It could have been the same. It didn't make a difference. But the thing is, what I want to see is Fable. You show me one of those, those zoom out shots where you get the protagonist and just go boom, pull the camera back, and that's where you go, holy S.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
What the hell is this? And just have the camera pan from left to right. And then just go bang, Fable, and then give us the year. That's it. You could just do it maybe show us a little more, but you know what I mean? Just something that shows us in game. What's his name there was going nuts about it, saying, I want to show Fable. And Playground is like, hey, pump the brakes, buddy.
Matt Booty wants to show it. The team says no dice. We don't want to show it yet.
Oh, was it Matt Booty? Yeah, it was right. It was Matt Booty. Yeah, it was Matt Booty. Okay. He's going nuts about it. And he's like, he wants to show it. And they're going, yo, pump the brakes. Maybe now's not the time to pump the brakes, because by the time this thing, let's just see something. And that would be the one for me. Now, as for a secret game that we don't know about, I can't even speculate. I don't even know what the hell these teams are working on. I've heard nothing. I've heard not nothing. I've heard very little, but nothing substantial enough that I could say, okay, well, this might be coming, or that might be coming, or Doom 3, or the new Wolfenstein. Those games are great, and they're always going to be great, but those are something you could say for E3. Okay, I want to see something else, that's something bigger. I want to see that Fable. I want to see a release date for that Lies of P, that kind of stuff. Other than that, I'm excited for it. You know what they're going to have to back off of? And I know because they showed the trailer, they showed different trailers like 3 or 4 times already, is Senua's Saga. Save that for E3. Because that can't be a one more
news
thing.
I'm not allowed to talk about. I'm just saying that it's listen. It's look. You keep hearing that she like I know her. She's not a real person. That's that Hellblade 2 is gonna release holiday of 2023.
That's what I'm hearing too.
I think it hits. I think we're all gonna be super surprised. Ninja Theory has yet to fail, folks. I mean, look, I get it. Maybe there's look, the puzzles in Hellblade 1 were somewhat frustrating. There were times where Mrs. Boomstick, she is so good with puzzles. I had to call in the big guns to be like, honey, you got to help me with this. I can't figure it out. And she's like, yeah, just turn it this way. Yeah, this over the place. I'm like, how do you see that?
My wife does the same thing.
That's why she runs the ship, brother. I'm just
Hey,
driving, but she's pulling the strings. No doubt about
You remember
that.
the Uncharted? Remember the Uncharted shadow puzzle?
Yes.
That one where you have to move those things in the water,
Yeah,
and you have to match the shadows on the wall, and then the one from Uncharted Lost Legacy, the same thing. We had to match up the thing on the wall. I was going insane, and my wife comes in, and she goes, "Give me that."
I love it.
And then she like left the room. I'm like, okay, thanks.
Oh,
I'll just sit here like a schmuck. But anyways, sorry. Long story longer. I want to see Fable and Lies of P. Those would be my
I have a really good one. Shout out to Gerald Mack, who's a good friend of the program. Hargeet, first of all, the one more thing I want to get your opinion on it. You're a marketing dude, obviously. You know you work with the Source King himself, so you know how he does his stuff. So obviously, which his last video, I didn't know he could rap. Whoa, like wow,
Good,
like
wasn't it?
that was
He
great.
was good.
Are you freaking kidding me?
Yeah.
But Gerald Mack says he wants to see something, and I want to do this live on the air because could you imagine, Hargeet? Ubisoft is going to be there in Seoul, right? Right. Obviously, if Ubisoft Plus is announced and they have one more thing, right? It doesn't necessarily have to be Xbox, right? It could have been a partnered third-party game that may be announced as an exclusive that I heard years ago. Can you imagine if it goes black and you hear this?
Oh
Yeah.
boy.
Yeah. You know. Yeah.
That is the way I'm getting goosebumps, folks. I got goosebumps doing that live on the air. Just imagine that, Hargeet. The importance. Let's get your opinion. The importance of the one more thing, but the show itself is poised to be huge. Like I said, motorsport may not be your bag, folks, but what they have done with this game, it is the new engine. I cannot wait to see it in action. And I think Redfall, folks, people are sleeping on this game. I am telling you, the fact that ID, the makers of Doom Eternal, and their team that built the shooting mechanics there, helped for the shooting mechanics in Redfall, tells me that this is going to be something special. What are your thoughts on the show and the one more thing?
So, I mean, I'd be cautious and trying to think that there actually is a one more thing. They were pretty clear about what they're showing, right?
Here. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't want to go crazy thinking. So I don't think you're going to see Fable or anything. I think that's all E3. I think you're going to get a huge amount of that stuff at E3. I think they want that show to really just knock everybody out, and so that's what that's going to be. This is probably going to focus on games that are coming before E3, right?
Mhm.
So that'd be my guess. I don't know if Splinter Cell is coming, but that would be an awesome way to announce Ubisoft Plus coming to Game Pass if that's happening. Which I don't know if it is. I mean, like Ubisoft's in trouble, right? They're having financial issues.
Can I say
time for them to
something?
make
He's
some
not
money.
here. He's not here to appreciate what I'm about to say, but he did post it in the DM. Currently, Ubisoft stock is lower than Sega.
Don't say it.
I had to say it. I'm sorry.
Sega has to be mentioned at every moment.
Yeah, I mean,
Come on.
Ubisoft, well, they can't be acquired, I think, because of the way the Tencent deal worked with them getting some of their stock. So they're locked for 5 years, but whatever. That maybe something can be worked around. But anyway, but yeah, that'd be an awesome announcement and cash infusion for a company that's not going to hit their revenue marks because, well, they've delayed their games.
Right.
And, so that's just the way it is. And they don't have big Microsoft to be able to soften that blow versus Ubisoft, who have to deal with it themselves. So yeah, this is going to be an interesting thing if they actually can announce it. Like the leak has shown that the Ubisoft Plus logo is there now on the store. That's pretty cool. So if that comes in now, it would be cool to have that. What I do think is going to happen is you're going to see a smaller game, much like Pentiment or something like that, from one of the other studios, and I think they're kind of hinting towards.
What was the studio? It was the one that did
Tango.
Yes,
Tango Gameworks. Yeah.
Tango Gameworks. Yes.
So I think they have something. I think they're going to show it. Was it there's some rumor of it being like that Jet Set Radio style kind of game or something like that.
Beat 'em up, rhythm beat 'em up with Jet Set Radio style. Yeah,
so you might see that. That'll be the one more thing. I want to not set expectations off, off the charts, right? Get what you're going to get, and your hype should be good for E3 because that's where they're going to try to, really knock you out there. That's where they want to show everything.
Well, that's where the 12-month thing comes into place. Like I said, I was a big. I didn't like it last year because the first 6 months we didn't have anything, right? So it wasn't. It really wasn't good. But this 12-month show is going to hit a bit different because not only are we going to see,
Are we
what's
sure they're
coming-
going to do 12 months again?
That's a good question. I don't know if it's
well,
12
I
months.
mean,
We'll
they
see.
committed to it, so I would imagine they're going to keep doing it, obviously, because this year is going to hit a bit different. And I
Yeah.
say that because, well, there is a 6 month, of 2023 that we haven't gotten to yet. By the time June hits, from July to December, they need to fill that with games. We believe Senua's Saga or Hellblade 2 is going to be there. We believe there's going to be potentially, again, folks, I'm just saying potentially, Compulsion Games might be ready to drop theirs as well. But
to your point, though, Boom, it doesn't have to be first party, right? So that's where
right.
they could show, hey, we got these 3 Japanese games. We got these other, second party games. We still haven't heard about IO Interactive's Project Dragon, right?
Yep.
Here you go. Boom. Contraband. Here it comes. Right?
Indiana Jones.
Indiana Jones. Right? So there's plenty of first party things. There's plenty of third party deals they could drop and say, hey, we got this. And the potential that ABK could be done by E3.
Yeah.
And therefore, you're now dropping boom. Here you go. Here's Activision. Boom. Here you go. Right. Here's some Blizzard games for you. Boom. Oh, by the way, there's a game coming from Blizzard. We're going day and date with Diablo. Boom. Right.
Yeah.
So that could be one of those announcements. And, so we don't know, right? That could be the thing that they do, right? And there's games that that ABK are working on that we don't know about yet, right? That there's hints about what they're trying to make, right? And those could be coming, and that maybe in that show as well, right? So it could be a great like hype thing for, like, say, the next year and a half, right? And drop some third party things as well. Hey, we're not forgetting that we need to have those third party deals as well, and we're bringing in a whole bunch of games to Game Pass. We're bringing some exclusives, stuff like that, right? So, but yeah, as far as this show, I temper expectations just so we don't go too off the walls here. I think it's going to be those.
I do like the Tango
Gameworks
GameWorks game. I think that's a smart play. Because obviously,
small thing. Hopefully releasing now, right? Hopefully releasing.
They said it could drop at any time. So maybe again, we got one more thing for you. And by the way, it's available now.
But the one more things also could be, and I don't know if they're going to do it or not, but it could be, hey, we got the family plan for Game Pass, and it's going to start rolling out over the next 6 months, and we have a phased rollout here of the countries that are coming next, right?
Yeah,
that could be kind of cool. There is the potential again for Ubisoft Plus. Now this would be an epic announcement, which is why I think it's going to be E3 and not here. We're going to put Ubisoft Plus in, and Ultimate will now be Ubisoft Plus EA, and no more gold. It goes away.
Oh,
that would be a bombshell announcement at E3.
Wow.
No more gold. But Ultimate, the reason you get Ultimate is you get Ubisoft Plus, the full thing, not like this Essentials thing. You get Ubisoft Plus full, you get EA, and you get all of Game Pass, PC and console. And that gives you a reason to stay to that tier, because that tier includes gold, and that's why it's a big, it's a good jump from the $10 to the $15 a month, right? But if you just get rid of gold and say we're throwing in Ubisoft Plus, that is a lot of value that you just get.
Well, Ubisoft Plus, if people don't know, and obviously Kay Santa, you're like one of our PC guys, and I think Wandering Dutch as well, that you pay $15 a month and you get everything. You get games, day and date, you get DLC, everything. You get everything. That is going to push the value proposition to a place where both Nintendo and Sony are going to be like, damn, like, what do we do? Like
they started, right? PlayStation has it. PlayStation is at the premium level, whichever one they have.
They have it. It's their smaller games. It's the
essentials.
The essentials. Yeah.
Yep. Exactly. But nothing stops them from renegotiating, right? Like, hey, this is competition. This is the beauty of competition, right?
Indeed.
It pushes Sony to say, well, how do we compete with that? What can we give our consumers to drive our subscription numbers up? Hey, that's the beauty of a market, right? Go for it. Yep. I love it.
I love it. And something, you did say something pretty interesting. Again, for me, I know that we on this channel specifically, we've talked a lot about ABK because it's the biggest thing ever. But it's been out of my brain pan for quite some time because it's been jacked up. It's been held up. It's been who knows what's going to happen. But this is a great way for Microsoft to show off, or the opening salvo, if you will, for their year. And it's going to be a big year. Game Pass is going to, again, I don't get $1 every time I say it, folks. I'm just saying that as a retired guy who brings real life to the table, who's not afraid to say that I have limitations as a retired guy. I have a great pension, folks, and fantastic health coverage, dental, glasses, you name it. We're doing good, but these pensions have limitations, folks. And I say this all the time. The value proposition of what Microsoft offers allows me to go out and buy other games that are not in Game Pass.
Yep,
And that's something that's not discussed enough, to be honest with you. But Dutch,
So
I want to get
one more thing before we go on.
Okay, absolutely. Come on.
I'm just curious what people think about, should the showcase have anything about when the Starfield thing happens? Should they drop that before the 25th, or should the showcase end with and come back on, I don't know, February 10th, and we're going to talk about Starfield, and here's a little preview like clip.
You know, I'm going to be honest with you. That's a my God, that's a magnificent question. See, like for us, we read the bylines every day. Like the first thing I do, I get out of bed, you know, hugs and kisses to Mrs. Boom, and I go right to Twitter. What broke? Right? That's exactly what I do. What DMs do I have?
Boom scroll.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Right? Because you have to keep. I do 5 shows a week, folks. I got to keep up with the Joneses. It's crazy. I'm scrolling at 12:30 at night, and I'm sending myself stories, and I'm reading in bed to prepare for the next day. It's crazy. It never stops, and I love it. I love it. But Hargeet, that's amazing, and that's a great question. I would say for us, no. But for the people who don't do what I do and what everyone in the chat, first of all, we got 650 people here, which is holy shit, that's crazy. Thank you for joining us tonight. Super appreciate it. See a lot of new names, folks. We are under 400 away from 12K.
Yeah.
If you want to help us get to that 12K, hit the damn subscribe button, folks. Trust me when I tell you, you're going to like the content. But to your point, Hargeet, I think maybe that could be the one more thing. Yeah. Like, hey, we know that everyone's talking about Starfield. We're very excited for Bethesda. It's coming on this date. I think that could be the one more thing, and that would be amazing.
And maybe it's an ad that they could dump on the Super Bowl, right? That is a big set of eyes.
Yeah, dude.
Right?
Someone actually DM'd
me.
They
have to do Super Bowl.
This is what we're gonna have. Super Bowl ad. You get to see
Super Bowl has to happen February 12th. They gotta.
They
can't walk away from that. They did the Game Awards. They walked away. We gave them a mulligan.
Yeah.
They cannot get a mulligan for the Super Bowl because Sony's going to be at that Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. They'll probably show a Spider-Man trailer for sure.
Yeah, of course they will. Yeah, why not?
Well,
I want to give the guy credit too.
And that's PSVR. So let's not discount the fact that
I forgot about that.
Advertising the heck out of that.
I forgot about that.
And who has the thumbs that happen to hit the pre-order button recently on that thing?
I'm not doing it. I'm not.
Yeah, that's why I forgot about it because I put it on
Had
pause.
to do it.
Yeah,
I'm not getting
I love VR. I do, and I think it's going to be amazing. But I just can't justify that price. Mrs. Boom and we live in an apartment. We're limited space. We want to own eventually, and I can't make those kind of purchases now. I just can't. We're trying to put money away, and that's just not on the bucket list right now. It's fine. I'll get it eventually. But the Super Bowl thing, Hargeet, that was just mentioned, the guy Darcy, his name is @Leafer_11 on Twitter, actually reached out to me and said, what if they're waiting for a big drop or like Starfield at the Super Bowl? I was like, yeah, that's genius. That's pure genius. But Wandering Dutch, let's get your opinion on this, brother. Hargeet brought up a great point. The one more thing could be something as simple as, hey, come back on February 10th. We're going to do the Starfield 40-minute reveal, and we have a lot to show, and maybe they even hint at a release date. You know what I'm saying? For you, is this show going to hit like we all think it's going to hit?
I'm a little bit more realistic on this time around. I think Microsoft have been very intentionally transparent on exactly what to expect from this show. I think we will see those 4 games. I think if there is any announcements, I think the announcements we will get at the end as the finale type of thing, or near the end, might be discussing or very briefly touching on Game Pass Family and Friends. But also, instead of the Starfield kind of showcase announcement saying we'll see you back here in 3 months for the next dev update show, and essentially kind of do that as a recurring thing. Kind of in 3 months' time, we'll come back and do the next one, and in 3 months' time, we'll come back and do the next one. And at the end of each show, you get the date for the next one, or at least you say we'll see you in a few months and for the next dev update. I think that's the more likely than the Starfield thing. I think the Starfield thing, they're going to make kind of more of a big deal of that separately. I just don't think they're going to take the shine off the games that they're showing in this 45 minutes. I think they're literally just going to give the floor to Redfall, Motorsport, Minecraft, and ESO. But even then, ESO is not getting the full whammy. ESO is intentionally having their own separate show after the show because they don't want to talk too much about all of this MMO content on that show either. So personally, I think it's just going to be kept relatively limited, but that's intentional. I think it's because of the way that they haven't been, and this was an issue on Xbox E3 last year. They mentioned it once on a random thing that very, very few people saw that they were only going to touch on the next 12 months. Nobody knew that. And only afterwards they were saying, oh, we did mention it was only going to be 12 months. It was like, no, not really, you didn't. Nobody knew that it was only the next 12 months. Otherwise, we wouldn't have went into that thinking it's only the next 12 months. And even then, technically, it wasn't the next 12 months. It was just next year's first 6 months. But yeah, it's going to be, I think it's just going to be direct and to the point. It's not to say that they can't do one more thing, but the likelihood is they're going to be, I think they're going to just be to the point. But the positive news for me on this is that they are starting these dev updates. They are starting to roll them out. And it's something that we gave them feedback for a long time. We've asked them, listen, we want like more quarterly updates like your Treehouse Lives or your Sony State of Plays. These are the types of things we want. We want these little updates from developers. And it's great to see Xbox taking that feedback on board and not getting involved themselves, but allowing the developers of these studios to do the talking for themselves, as opposed to Microsoft introducing them every 2 seconds. Oh, this is such and such, and he's going to talk about this for 2 minutes and then show a gameplay trailer. They're going to actually let the developers talk about their games, their passion projects, their things that they've been working on, which is far more effective because that should translate into the enthusiasm that they've got for their project. I just think, yeah, it's a great way to do it. And I think kind of essentially if they can maintain consistency on these developer directs, I think that's the biggest plus point for me out of these. I think that's the hype point for me out of these as well. If we can get one of these once a quarter or even twice a year, bookends on the tail ends of each side of E3. So you're getting one before E3, then you get E3, then you get one on the other side. So you're getting like 3 major updates a year, excluding TGS and Gamescom and the Game Awards. That's a major improvement over what we've had, kind of especially last year, where it was just literally the showcases. So yeah, I'm happy that they've started doing this. Hopefully it is consistent, but this is the theme for Microsoft and Xbox for the remainder of this generation: consistency. If they are consistent, they'll be successful. If they aren't consistent, they will not be successful. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. No.
And you know what? To Wandering Dutch's point, since they're listening, we must all speak in one voice. Consistency equals success.
I love it.
Equals success.
Asante, let me tell you something. I've been in the hospitality business for almost 30 years now, and I can tell you something. When people ask me all the time, they're like, "Oh, Mag." Of course, they don't call me Mag in real life, but we'll pretend. Oh, Mag, what's the best?
So they call you Pony 420s. What they call you in real life.
Can you imagine? I'm sitting in a corporate meeting. So, Pony Master. Anyhow, they're like, "So, what's the best restaurant in the world?" And they're always going to think I'm going to say like, "Oh, it's Chez Henri or it's Pierre de Cochon or some crazy restaurant like that." I said it's McDonald's.
McDonald's. Yeah.
And they all freak out. They're like, "What do you mean McDonald's?" And I said, "I don't eat McDonald's personally." I said, "But it's the best restaurant in the world." You know why? Because 45 years ago, you could get a Big Mac and a fries and it'd be almost the same and taste the same as a Big Mac and fries that you're going to get now. Consistency is king, and consistency breeds success. That's what Dutch is 100% correct. We say it together. Consistency.
They hear you. Clearly, they're listening. So
They are
speak.
listening.
Yep.
They're definitely listening. But, Crispy, let's get your opinion on it, brother. You're fired up for this show. Obviously, it's going to be a big show for Xbox. The one more thing, I like what Hargeet's putting down. I like what Wandering Dutch is putting down. Where do you feel about the one more thing, the importance, and more importantly, the show?
Oh man, the one more thing is the thing that's kind of like at first I was like, yeah, I'm all for it, and then I'm like, I don't know. I'm kind of with Mag and Dutch. I'm like, set the table and say, okay, we're not going to do that, and we don't want that expectation to ever be there when we do these shows. Now you save them for the one more thing for E3, for the Game Awards. You do that because you have more eyes, and you'll probably get more hype. I mean, really, if you look at this Dev Direct show, I mean, regardless, there are going to be other eyes besides Xbox gamers, but this is really for us. I mean, we're the ones that have been screaming. You know what I mean? We're like, come on, give us something, and they have. So, we sit here, and if they stick to exactly what they say, I think that'll be, and not to say that they don't show the family plan or something like that. And to some people, that might be bigger than even a game announcement. You know what I'm saying? But
to me, it will. My wallet.
Damn right. I'm excited for that announcement.
Me too. I mean, let's be honest. And I just want it out there. I don't care if they put a tweet out there. It's one of those things like just get it out there. But if they do that, I get it. But also, if there's literally only the devs talking the whole time, I don't know how they're going to squeeze it in there as well. If they stay true to what they just said, you know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things that there's no host, there's nobody to, navigate those waters per se. What do you do about that? If I was to pick one more thing, it would be obviously the Marcus Phoenix collection. Okay. I mean, it just say it already. Because it's been way too long, and we've talked about it way too many times in the past few years. Just do it already. But really what I'm interested in is to see how good Forza looks. I just think they're going to blow our minds. And I know like wait. Everybody's like Horizon 5, oh man, that game I'm telling you, I just feel like this thing's going to be even like PC guys are going to be watching just for that game. I'm telling you, they're going to have a lot of eyes on there just because of the PC market's going to be looking at that. And then Redfall, I mean, if Ed's up in there, doing some magic with those mechanics, I mean, oh man, like this game could be redonkulous. You know what I mean? Like, especially because you can play with other people as well. Like, dude, I just feel like that game could be something that we're kind of sleeping on. Even I'm still like, so I really want to see, a little bit more and maybe get into the world a little bit more with that game. But I mean, I think they should just stick to what they're saying and continue with that, besides E3 and the Game Awards.
Yeah, I agree. Listen, folks, we still got 25 minutes here. And I want to do something that's uncharacteristic. I want to throw a little spice into here. You've been hearing that literally an hour ago, they dropped the new Dead Space trailer. Well, I have it, folks. I have it for you. We're going to watch it live on the air.
Thank God. I haven't seen it yet.
Now I'm cautious about the sound because obviously I don't want to have any problems, so I may mute the sound.
I was going to say, thankfully, you don't need the sound for the trailer to say it's visuals. So
yeah, okay. Well, here we go, folks.
Brace yourselves. It's gonna smash us into the hull.
I think it's me. It's all falling apart here.
Hey, Isaac. Coming? Where is everybody? Up there! No!
This transformation, it's remarkable. Don't you want to be reunited with the people you lost? Our truly divine.
There's still a way out for us. But we don't have much time.
That's how you make a trailer.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's how you make
Yeah,
a
I
trailer.
agree.
You see what I'm talking about? Hollywood? Get some Hollywood in
I
there.
could say that I have now seen that trailer 3 times, and I am impressed. Look, take nothing away from Callisto Protocol and the team that made that game, but there's something about Dead Space that just hits, folks. And wow. I don't even care if the show gets demonetized because of showing that trailer. It's worth every penny. Let's make the rounds here. Mag, before we get out of here, you are our horror guy.
Yes.
Talk about that trailer, brother. Does this now jump to the forefront of one of your most anticipated games of the year?
Oh, well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, this and a Dead Space remake and Hogwarts Legacy are my 2 biggest games of the year. And of course, Spider-Man down the road. But I don't count the fall as 2023. I consider that 2023 part 2. It's like a separate year to me because it's so far away. But anyways, let's deal with this. Absolutely. Now, the funny thing is the last trailer that came out, which was a couple of months ago, I think it was. And my wife saw that trailer, and she normally doesn't play those games. She'll watch me play them, but she won't play them herself. She saw that trailer and she said, I'm playing this. And the good thing is we actually game share with each other, which is kind of ridiculous because we live in the same house. But still, it doesn't matter. We have separate accounts for that kind of stuff. So we game share. So anyways, she's playing Dead Space, so she's that excited. This game just nailed it, just absolute home run. So now, even if you were on the fence, you were no longer on the fence. But the thing is, I already know the game's going to be amazing. I already know the game's going to be great. When then we're talking about it and they were showing screenshots from like a year and a half ago, I was already excited. Now, here's the bigger thing. This is what I want to launch the game forward. I need a trilogy out of this. And you don't have to remake 2 and 3. Use this as your jumping point because let's face it, guys, we're old men, okay? They're not marketing to us. Right. The people who are seeing this never played Dead Space.
Right.
Dead Space is when they were 2. Okay. I just signed up a new guy to work with me today. I'm going, yeah, okay. And your date of birth? He goes 2004. I'm like, 2000 and what? I'm like, you were born then? I was almost married then. Anyways, it scares me. But anyways, the point is that's who they're marketing towards, right? So the thing is, you want to take this as a remake for us and everybody else and say, okay, guys, you got your remake of part 1. However, we're going to call this a soft reboot. So now, not only is it a complete remake of the first one with a few elements of something new, now branch off and create your own trilogy out of this one. Use this as a launching pad to move forward and go into a completely different direction with part 2 and 3. I would be 100% for that because I don't want just one game and them to walk away and then just
no. This is I love the idea, love it.
You know what I'm saying? Like so, it's an homage / remake of the first. So you appease the original fans as well as garner new fans, and now take that creativity and move into a completely different trajectory. So we'll consider this. You know what it reminds me of? How about this, guys? The 2018 Halloween.
Yeah.
It's basically what I'm getting at. So you took something that was a part of part 1, you brought it 40 years into the future, and then from part 2 and 3, you branched off into a different direction. That's kind of what I'm getting at. So you know what I'm saying? So take the Dead Space that we've got now and take this trilogy into a Halloween / Halloween Kills / Halloween Ends. And in that direction, I don't care what anybody thought about the third one. It was genius. Anyways, and that's a whole different story. But anyways, that's what I want the Dead Space to see. I'm excited. I'm going to shut up.
No, good
Everborn.
Stuff. Considering Everborn Saga is a fan of Sonic, very, very slow tonight. This guy.
I just got off of an 8-hour production call that I have been on since this morning.
8 hours.
Horrifying. 8 hours, dude. You're outdoing me.
Yeah, that's scary. That's scary. Well, listen, it's great to have you here, brother. We will get to you in a moment. Kargeet, that trailer. Wow. I mean,
Yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. Yeah, I mean, hopefully it lands. That's coming out pretty soon, right? A few weeks.
Couple of weeks.
Couple weeks, yeah. Couple weeks.
I gotta
yeah.
finish Sonic.
Good way for EA to start the year, right?
How are you liking it, Mag?
I love it. But that'll be a story for another time. Go ahead, Argy. Sorry, brother.
But yeah. So I mean, I'm not a Dead Space person, but that trailer does look pretty interesting. It's the cool thing is it is eventually coming to Game Pass, right? So I can play it anyway. But question is, would I buy it now? I think the next game I'm really hyped for is actually Hogwarts. I think that's the next game I'm really like.
Yeah, that's going to be a big one. I wonder how many people on this panel are going to finish that game multiple times just to join different houses. Because I think I'm going to.
Boom! I got it for Xbox and PS5. That's how much I'm playing. I'm going to get the platinum.
I've done that with Resident Evil, dude. I don't mind dropping the bag for a game that I love.
Too, yeah, right. RE4.
My wife and I are huge Harry Potter fans, so it's happening. So I'm getting the platinum, and I'm getting the 1,000 out of the 1,000.
Now, which house are you starting with?
Oh, Gryffindor to start, and then I'm going to go Slytherin on PS5 because it's it's the more evil system, right? So I figured I'd go that route.
I love it.
I saw where he was going with that.
You know what? Because Harry Potter would play Xbox, and Voldemort would 100% own a PS5. So gotta go that route.
Oh my god, I love it.
Yeah, love it. Yeah. The only thing with trailers is that you never know, right? So
yeah, it's true.
Once we get the game, we'll know if it actually does hit. But it looks good. It looks like it's going to do well.
EA Motive deserves a break. Motive is great. They haven't had their shine. EA Motive deserves a break. This looks like
this is the same team that's bringing us that Star Wars game, right?
Yeah,
so,
and they did such great work. They've done great work with narrative. They're very good, and their graphics are always good. I'm hoping this gives them the respect they deserve.
I remember playing Dead Space for the first time and hearing the moans around the corner. And there's no saves, there's no pause, right? With a save, there's no pause. And I'm creeping and creeping and creeping, and one of those fucking things jump out of the breaks through the glass. Forget about it. It's crazy. I love it. Wandering Dutch, talk about the trailer, brother. You dropped it in the DM, and I'm like, well, if we have time, I think we should hit all switches. That trailer was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was insane. And to be fair, that was well above what I was expecting from it. It looked great in all the previews and things like that we'd seen, but that looks it looks a step above and a step beyond what I was expecting from the remake. It like the atmosphere. It looks like the original vision they had for the game.
Yeah,
which is probably the highest compliment you can give a game when it's showing a remake like that. Like in terms of the atmosphere and the volumetric lighting and the volumetric fog and the noise. Now you've got 3D audio, which is going to creep the hell out of you when you're kind of going down the corridors and you hear these things going off, and it's just fantastic. I've loved the Dead Space universe for quite some time, and one of the best animes that I've watched that kind of translates from a video game was Dead Space Downfall. That was a phenomenal anime, and a great representation of what the game was in anime form. And I'm just so looking forward to this. It's one of the many games I as soon as it was there for pre-order, I'd pre-ordered it. I can't wait, and that was well above like out of Callisto in this one. I was more looking forward to seeing this classic remade than I was Callisto. Callisto looked like a good first outing, but unfortunately, it was plagued by a lot of issues at first and
bad like Mag said, bad development. Yeah,
that was all it was.
Yeah.
Can you imagine collectibles not carrying over from chapter to chapter? And if you die, by the way, just a side note, if you die in Callisto Protocol and go back and it reloads you, the collectibles don't carry over.
That's dumb. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
listen, the worst design decision was prioritizing the PS5 over the Series X. That's all I'm gonna say.
Hey, you know what?
That's all I have to say about that.
DualSense features were actually pretty damn cool for that game. But anyway.
I'll give it to him.
Yeah, it just looks absolutely phenomenal. And to be fair, I'm like much like a tech geek than anybody else, but I'm really looking forward to seeing what they've done with the lighting effects and the atmosphere, but also primarily the audio. I cannot wait to experience the 3D audio for that game.
Yeah,
it's going to add another layer to it that we didn't have in the original. It's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. I'm looking forward to that as well. Crispy Bomb, let's get your hot opinion on this. What do you thought about the trailer?
Trailer looks great. I mean, they did a darn good job because I never played Dead Space and I kind of want to play it now.
Oh man, I'm jealous. I'm actually jealous of you. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, no, I don't know, man. Like, it's like I started playing multiplayer, and it's like if a game's really gonna grab me, it's gotta have, an extra like 200 hours minimum. Like, you know what I mean? So it's one of those things where I'm just gonna sit there and say, okay, I'll just wait until comes Game Pass at some point, and I'm riding that coattail at this point because there's just so many games coming out. I'm just like, if I buy a game, am I actually going to play it? And I think that's a question that I have. And then to say that I buy it right out for it, and then something comes into Game Pass, and then, I end up playing it with the fam or something. And then I'm sitting there and I'm like, well, I bought this game and now it's $20 cheaper. What the hell is my problem? You know what I'm saying? So I don't know. Like, it's one of those things where I'm definitely interested because of the trailer. And I'm sure a lot of other people feel that way that haven't played Dead Space. But at the same time, it's like the amount of games we're getting is my concern at this point. And will I play the darn thing anytime soon?
That's true. That's time, folks. My biggest cardinal sin of 2022, too many games. I didn't finish hardly anything. It's gross. But that's on me. Real quick, let me catch up some super chats and we'll get to K. Asante's opinion on this. Risk It for the Biscuit, good friend of the program, all the way on the other side of the planet from Australia, drops a very generous $3 super chat and says, guys, are we being a little greedy? Talking about all of our wants and hopes and dreams for the Xbox show. And I'm going to say no. I want to be greedy. I'm sorry. I'm pulling an Umbra here, folks. I am going to be a greedy gamer. And I know Umbra is probably smiling from ear to ear because he's in the chat as we speak.
After 2022.
Nothing wrong with wanting to, eat.
I'm saying after 2022, there's nothing wrong with a lot of people are hungry.
I agree. Gerald Mack drops a very generous additional $2 super chat and says, "Risk it for the biscuit." Ah, yeah. Jimbo Jangles, good friend of the program, drops a very generous $10 super chat and say, "Boom and crew, man, seeing these red super chats lately is incredible." Yeah, I don't even have words for him. I'm gonna be honest with you. He says, "So damn cool. Your community hits different." Indeed, they do. I'm very, very blessed and incredibly thankful and grateful for the generosity. Brett Bingham drops a very generous $10 super chat and says, "I saw Ubisoft canceled a lot of their projects." Yeah, actually, it's been like 8 of them. I think they canceled 4 today, and it might have been even more than 8. Their pirate game got delayed again.
6 times.
It's not looking good for Ubisoft. Maybe they go to Microsoft and said, "Hey, listen, maybe the Splinter Cell, drop us the bag and you can keep some, Splinter Cell exclusive," which I think they should do. I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm just being greedy, but yes, they should do that. He goes on to say, "Would be a shame if someone, if they were to suddenly uncancel them because someone funded them. Announcer Xbox exclusive." Yes, that's what I'm talking about, brother. Yes, I agree. Also been making the rounds. I'm not gonna talk about it now, but Scalebound coming back. Oh my god. That IP
I called that 2 years ago, by the way.
That IP is never going to die. Gerald Mack drops a very generous $5 of chances. Xbox new mantra for double X23. Game Pass dropping more S than pigeons. Join in. Hashtag Gamers Unite.
That's a notorious B.I.G. line right there. One of his hottest songs.
Brett Bingham, who's been a channel member for 2 months, drops a $5 super chat. Thank you for the additional super chat, brother. He says, "Microsoft may not buy Ubisoft, but Phil Spencer, all right, Ubi, let me see them IPs." Yeah, I'm right there with you. Danny Passion Official drops a very generous $2 super chat and says, "Dead Space will be available on Game Pass EA Play." Yes, I think we're actually going to get that for. Is it going to be a 10-hour trial? You think?
I don't know about the 10-hour trial.
They won't do it. Not for
single players. Usually they don't do that. But he's talking about the pro version on PC. You get that day one.
Oh wow!
Yes,
wow,
that's correct.
There you go. Danny Passion Fisher drops an additional $5 super chat and says, "Yes, with a subscription to EA Play Pro, players will have access to Dead Space on launch day." Wow, that's pretty dope. K. Asante, let's talk about this trailer, which if you look, you're going to see I just put Dead Space on the screen.
Not jelly at all, man. Not jelly at all.
It's coming up after the Dreamcast. You'll see after Sonic on there. And I said Sonic and everyone is here. So there you go.
Of course.
Talk about it, K. Asante.
No, the trailer looks amazing,
for you?
man. Oh yeah, it's definitely day and date for me. It reminds me of a time when we used to watch these like really awesome sci-fi B movies. You know what I mean? Your
Yes.
Event Horizons, your you know
Yes.
that stuff,
Loved it.
and the trailer itself evokes that. Even right now, just watching it, it's like I just want to go see that again. I want to go back in the crates and pull out some of those great old movies where they're in space doing ridiculous stuff and getting eaten by weird monsters. You know, this harkens literally back to that time.
Event Horizon was not a B movie, but I understand.
Well, you know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. It's a B movie as far as sales go, but in our heart, it is number one.
It's an A plus.
Absolutely. Sunshine, you know, all those movies. Absolutely,
it's a AAA movie.
Yeah, AAA budgeted movie. Yes, no, but I'm and when Dead Space 1 and 2 and 3 first came out, I wasn't really big into like your scary games at the time. So Dead Space 2 got me to go back to 1, and then 3 screwed the pooch. They went a little too action heavy, but this seems to really retain the essence of it while cleaning it up and all that. So I'm with Mag. I hope that this hits hard enough where folks then go, okay, well, we're not going to just go remake the next ones. You know, Motive, you've taken a lot of time. Like I've said this before, even the Star Wars game that EA made that people clowned them for it, it had a campaign component, which was great, but people were there for the multiplayer, and obviously the multiplayer wasn't great until after until a while and a lot of work was put into it. But even in that, Motive made the campaign, and it was absolutely phenomenal. It's just it wasn't the reason why you came there, and it was a relatively short campaign, but it showed that they have the chops for this stuff, right? So I'm hoping that they got the blueprints to the original, they cleaned it up, made it look great. Hopefully, and they've literally given Isaac a voice this time. Like he's not a silent protagonist anymore. So there's more that they've added to the mix. It may come out great. It may not come out so great because people have this nostalgic feeling of how that story was told and how it went about. And now they're actually literally putting voice lines to your character, right? You're seeing his face and all that. So it may be, we don't know how it will turn out, but I have faith that it'll be really good. And with that, they can spur onto, you know, making a side trilogy, if you will, where they're allowed to tell different stories in this world, right? Or continue down the same path, but spell it out a different way. I'm excited to see where it goes. But yeah, the trailer is awesome. It totally has me excited. I hope this teaches, you know, others who are looking into that space that, hey, you can both have that old nostalgia and still bring the new school in and thread the needle well.
100%.
And these are some of those examples. So I think it's great.
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, real quick, we're gonna get ready to get out of here, folks. We're at the almost 2 hour mark. We want to just grab Everborn Saga. What your expectations for the show? I mean, we kind of know what's coming. Do you feel there's going to be a one more thing at the end, and what would that be? Everborn?
I don't think there's going to be a one more thing. I think they've set. Can you guys hear me?
Oh, we hear you. Go
ahead.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah. Yes.
Go ahead.
No.
Yes.
Can anybody hear me?
You.
Yeah.
We hear you. Don't hear us.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm on a delay. No, I do. I do hear you. Okay, so I think there is going. I don't think there are going to be much surprises. I think that they've done an excellent job at setting expectations, and I think we're going to get what we want, which is a Nintendo Direct style, state of play style show for these games we already know about. And I don't even know if we get Game Pass numbers yet, but that is fine. I think they're going to, what I do think we will get from this show, though, is dates. I think we will get dates, and we'll be surprised at the dates that we get. And then they're going to lead us into Starfield. And I think we get that Starfield show sometime in March. And regarding Dead Space, because I don't want to keep us too long, I actually never played the original Dead Space, any of them.
I'm jealous once again.
This is a completely new experience.
You not playing a classic?
And I know,
surprised?
I know you are all jealous of this. Hey, man, what can I say? So I'm super excited for Dead Space. I have not played Callisto Protocol because I'm waiting for them to fix the Series X issues and fix the ray tracing situation over there. But Dead Space is day one. I don't care if it's coming to Game Pass later. That is the next thing I'm looking forward to. So I won't keep us too long, but super excited about the show. And I think we are going to get more of these. Xbox is doing what we ask, sometimes
they are.
literally on this show. So this is how constructive criticism works. There's no hosts. They're even separating the Elder Scrolls Online stuff. This is only the stuff you want to see, and it's 45 minutes. So we're gonna get a long enough
15 minutes of each one. That's
and this
awesome.
is how it should be done. This is theirs to win or lose. They've set themselves up properly. If these games show great, I think we got a new formula. So I'm super excited, and that's it, man. Thanks for having me, and I hate you to work and these production issues that I have. So,
well, listen, folks, thank you so much. We had over almost 650 people here, which is amazing. A big shout out to a lot of new viewers. I see a lot of new names here. If you enjoyed the banter, normally we have gameplay, but because we had so many people, I figured we'd just do the camera thing, and gameplay usually happens more times than not. But look,
Man,
at the end,
your people. I'm sorry to interrupt, but your this community is bonkers, man. Check out that last super chat.
Right?
Man. Come on, now. Come on now.
Wow. That's crazy. Ducato is actually not the first one that he has done like this. As a matter of fact, he did it the last show as well. Ducato drops a $100 super chat. I mean, my God, I don't know what to say, brother, other than thank you very much. Again,
listen to what he says. He has the Hargeet bug. Yes, sir. Indeed.
Okay. So he says, I have the Hargeet bug again this week. One more copy of Stalker 2 to give away. Yeah, brother. Listen, we're gonna do it. We're gonna make sure that dev studio gets paid. And again, we are powered by the people. Microsoft knows what I'm doing. Even if they offered, I wouldn't take it. This is a grassroots little guy helping the big guy, or a little guy helping another little guy, and that's the way I want to keep it. My wife and I are dedicated to the people like you folks who support this channel. We try to pay it forward as much as we can, and it's super chats like this, and it's crazy donations. I mean, Hargeet on a regular basis drops codes in here like it's going out of style, which we cannot thank you enough. He's always blessing the people in the chat, so thank you for that. But we're gonna keep doing it, folks, and I can't thank you enough, Ducato, for the additional $100 super chat. Thank you very, very much. Let's get to the outros. We'll go first with Hargeet. Hargeet, talk about Game On Daily and the last video, because
it was pretty good.
I mean, Gaz is known as, according to Kay Asante, he's the Dave Chappelle of the podcasting world. That's coming from him, and he's not wrong.
Nice.
That video was epic. But I love what you guys do with the behind the scenes stuff at the back end. Like, you show all the antics that go into this. Folks, if you're not subscribed over to Game On Daily with Issa and of course Gaz, you're doing it wrong, folks. They are incredible. Hargeet, talk about it, brother.
Yeah, definitely come up to our channel. We also have a website. It's a news aggregation platform for video game news. So gameondaily.com, set up your account there, and it'll aggregate the stuff that you care about. And then, youtube.com/gameondaily. Check us out. There's plenty of cool videos. We will do probably less sauce videos, but there'll be more on more bigger topics. And the if you've watched the last one, the production value that goes into that, it just takes a lot, and so it's probably going to be fewer, but they'll be at that production value level. So we're going to try to make more of those kind of things, but we're trying to do other things as well to try to give you more content. And of course, we have a podcast on Saturdays, 4 p.m. Eastern. So check that out. Go live. And I am always here every Wednesday as well on Boom's podcast, 7 p.m. Eastern as well. So check us out here as well.
Someone said in the chat, Hargeet, they think they remember you dropping a $400 super chat, which
I've done that before. Several of those.
He has done that before, and like I said, it's look, again, this is you know what? Before I get out of here, folks, my wife and I are donating $100 to this, and I hope that more people get involved. Hoglaw's wife is doing a GoFundMe. I don't have it here. if anyone could just drop it into the chat real quick. Listen, what could you say about Hogue Law? He had a stroke, folks, right before the holidays, and that sucks. And he finally got approved. He's going to rehab. His wife has been giving updates each and every day. Give what you can. The goal is $85,000, and I would imagine that is for medical bills. And he runs his own law firm, so I'm sure he has some insurance that he pays for, but at some point that has limitations. So if you want to help,
link is in the chat.
Yeah, click on the link. Mrs. Boom and I are going to start off with 100 first. Obviously we gotta look at the bills and stuff, but we're going to drop $100 into that. And if you want to help, go and he's one of the community's finest. And he got sick and he didn't know it was going to happen, and now he's on a huge uphill swing to come back. We all want to see Hogue Law come back. So if you want to support him, his kids, his wife, the family, get over there and donate a couple of bucks. Every dollar helps, folks. You'd be surprised. I said it when people drop super chats, people are like, oh, Boom, I can only give $2. Okay, you don't have to give anything. So if you can offer something, please, by all means, get over there and help Hogue and Mrs. Hogue and the kids. And I'm glad I have a small platform that I can talk about it, because I should open up the show with it. It's been a busy day, and I apologize. I should open the show with it, but I have no problem closing the show with it. So get over there and support Hogue Law. Wandering Dutch, brother, let's get you in the outros. You had an amazing podcast today with your mates. Talk about that. I want to see you get more subs, dude. You got to get back into the swing of things, because you do great work. You're a pillar of the community. Talk about your podcast, dude.
Yeah, it's starting to get back into it. We've got very consistent timelines now. So every Tuesday, Save Tuesdays. Every Wednesday, the Midweek Mix-Up podcast, which of course is the focal point. Every second Sunday, we have the weekend edition, which is a little bit more chilled out, often a little bit longer. But there's so much content coming this year as well. There's going to be a lot of indie content. Of course, we've got the 2 indie showcases this year, which will begin starting work on that soon, because it's last year I gave myself a month head start, and even that was cutting it fine. So
you might need a 3-month head start on that, though.
Oh God,
honestly, yeah.
There's so much, and there's so many indie games. Like, even every day, I'm seeing even more indie developers showcase their projects and their stuff off. So there's so many that I'm in touch with now that I'm kind of getting more information on and getting more footage from, that haven't got official trailers yet, that we're kind of working together to try and get a trailer up or trailer kind of work together for them. So there's a lot of stuff coming, a lot of content, and the last one, of course, thanks to a lot of you, of course, that were involved, including Boom and Asante, in the last indie showcase there, along with, of course, special guest Aaron Greenberg.
Yes.
See if I can get a few more Xbox heads, and maybe it's impossible to get a PlayStation head, even though I'd love to. But a few more Xbox heads in there, kind of to kind of basically give back to the community and give you all a surprise. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff coming, a lot of good work, but it was a massive show last year. 24,000 views plus or something on that show so far. And big success. So we're going to go bigger and better, of course, every year. That's the intention. Bigger and better every year, and give the community something awesome to watch.
Coming for you, Keely. We coming for you.
Yeah,
Yes.
that's what I'm talking about. Absolutely.
Definitely.
Good stuff, Wandering Dutch. Crispy Bomb, sell your brand, brother. Where are you going to be tomorrow night? And where can people find you on social media?
Shout out to the chat. You gentlemen are awesome. It's at Chris's Bomb on Twitter, Chris's Bomb 28 Xbox Live. You can find me tomorrow night on the next podcast, 8 p.m. Tuesdays, 7 p.m. The Retro Renegades, and of course back here on Primetime Gaming. We'll see you then.
Thank you, brother. Definitely appreciate it. Asante, this Saturday, big show, man. Lots to get into. Talk about the Gaming Circle podcast that has crossed the 1K mark.
Yeah,
brother.
man. And I once again must thank all the community members, both here and on the panel. Like you guys helped me to that finish line. You know, and and we're starting the next season of it. Season 3 will start.
Who were those
this
soldiers
Saturday.
pushing up that flag on that hill?
Oh, and I appreciate it so much. After that, we now have our partnership thing solidified. It's all roses at this point. And of course, the wandering one blessed us with another intro and outro. So we're starting 2023 off with something special, something different. So this Saturday is going to be fun. Myself and of course Mr. Everborn Saga, we're going to get a little slanderous on Saturday morning. Come check us out. TKO, Asante, Xbox, PlayStation, all those places. We start the show at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard. We always promote, make sure folks see that we're doing it. This year, I actually have a lot of guests, some new faces that I haven't gotten a chance to either because I was too chicken to invite the heroes or I didn't think of it. But this year, I've gotten a lot of folks already on deck to join us. So it's going to be a real fun year. We appreciate all the folks that continue to support us, and thank you guys all for being here as well. And every week you come and you super chat and you go above and beyond with all this stuff. I honestly think that and Boom won't do it himself. I think we need to promote this initiative far and wide in the community. Let everyone know that we are here, and that this man is going to be giving more and more games released as soon as Stalker 2 releases because of what the story that they've gone through and this amazing inspiration that he's doing, and more people just keep adding more to the pot. I think it's absolutely fascinating and fabulous, and people need to give this man his roses. So thank you guys for continuing to support. And I want to see this thing spread. We need to put it on Twitter. Make sure people hear that this is what's going down, and they need to be a part of it as well. But no, I really appreciate everybody for being here, and we'll be back at these antics again next week. Thank you guys.
We absolutely will, and thank you for the kind words. Yeah, listen, again, it's something. It's a small gesture on a bigger on a much bigger personal thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, I don't want to make this any longer than it has to be, but you gotta say, how in the F did they finish this game
in a war zone?
Mm-hmm. Getting their families, worrying about their families and their loved ones, getting them out of the country safely to a new place, and they're still going to deliver this game. Like if that story isn't enough for you, and it's giving me goosebumps just saying it, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to tell you, folks. I mean, that is dedication unlike anything we've ever seen. We know for a fact that several of their dev members, their brothers, their sisters died in this war, in the line of duty, defending their country. This is a story of stories. And my wife and I didn't pick this up to get clicks or likes, folks. Understand, it's not about that. It's about doing something that maybe you're not going to see from some of the bigger channels with 1 million followers or 2 million followers or 500,000 followers. And I'm not saying that we're better than them. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that we wanted to do something bombastic. We wanted to do something that would hit. And we love giving back to the community, but this is an opportunity for us to not only give 15 people a game that they may or may not be able to afford to buy, but we're gonna take this on our backs, and we're gonna spend the monies to buy 15 copies to make sure that at least 15 of those copies come from from us, from this community. That's money that's going to go to their families, and I think that is the important message here, folks. Now, could it be more? Sure, but again, we got to remember, super chats are great, but Google takes 30%, so we have to make up that 30%. Most of the time, it's on our dime. We make up the 30%, and we don't ask for anything more because that's just what we do. But Everborn Saga, sell your brand, brother. You got a nice collection for $50 that people could, if they want to invest in the Everborn Saga and get everything in one shot, they can do that. And you have a lot going on this year, especially when you have a sequel to the Redland Saga potentially launching.
There is more than that. We've got it's. Can you guys? Yeah,
we're good.
I'm on a delay, but we're working it out. We're doing it live, people. All right. This is going to be a big year for the Everborn Saga. We are launching 4 projects. That is Ariel's Adventure Chapter 2, the Redlands Chapter 2, the Remnant Chapters 1 and 2. That's going to be a book that's we're releasing those together, so that will be 100 pages in that one book. And then we are releasing Prince of Arcadia Chapter 5. So but right now, if you want to get caught up, you can go to everbornsaga.com right now, click on any of the books and scroll down. It will show this offer to you. We literally sold out in 2 days, and then I had to do a new order of inventory so that I could kind of keep up with the demand. So they are kind of going fast, and I love every one of you guys for that.
And where is this on Amazon?
Everbornsaga.com. If you are not, no, everbornsaga.com. That's where the sale is. You can get it on Amazon.com, but it will be more expensive. So the only way I say go to Amazon is if you are out of the US. But Amazon does work with your Prime subscription, so you'll get the book with free shipping in like 2 days. I say that to say everbornsaga.com, that we've got so much going on. We have a game coming this year. I pinky promise you. And it's not one of those what do you call it things? It's not one of those
Xbox promises.
I can't remember the name for the joke. The joke escapes me. No. That's not what I was gonna. Abandoned. It's not abandoned. So it's coming. We've been doing some dev updates. But go to everbornsaga.com. Literally, you are getting 300 pages of content, over 300 pages, all amazing art. We are telling an epic fantasy story that is X-Men meets Lord of the Rings. That's all I'm gonna say, and I will leave it there. And 2023 is going to be amazing.
Yes. Well, listen, this has been a great show. Thank you to the 650 people. A huge shout out to the outrageous super chats that have come in. Every super chat matters, folks, whether that's $1 or like someone dropped today, $400, which is unbelievable. Big shout out and a big thank you to everyone that continues to support this channel in ways that are beyond words for me sometimes, folks. As much as I like to talk, my wife says, boy, you are long-winded. And she's right. Sometimes some things like this just knock it out of me. It's how I keep it together live on the air is beyond me, but I want to say a big thank you. Of course, I'm going to close out the show, folks, with something that's important to me. Hopefully one day it'll be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids. And he would say this: Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, son. I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. And we'll see you next week on the newest episode of Primetime Gaming with Mr. Boomstick and Friends.